In our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center at 5:08 this morning, let's get an update on the roads with Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. On the outbound ride at 47th, there's a crash involving a rollover semi. The truck's been moved out of there, but we still have lane and ramp closures in that area and a brief delay from 43rd to 47th. Bishop Ford Freeway outbound at Cottage Grove, 2 right lanes are blocked. After an earlier hazmat situation, the fuel leak, there's no real delay there. The other expressways and tollways, the overnight roadwork is gone. The roads are wet. Plenty of following distance. Lots of traffic issues with, as Mike mentioned, soccer at Soldier Field tonight, America's Cup sailing at Navy Pier, concert at UIC, a lot more. Traffic service of Subway. Try a hot, delicious Subway breakfast sandwich built just the way you want it, like egg whites and cheese with tomato and fresh spinach on toasted flatbread. Customize it with your choice of cheese, fresh veggies, Black Forest ham or steak, even jalapenos. The Subway Sandwich Shop. Fresh is what they do. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Yeah, too bad for the America's Cup guys. Messi's in town with his 507 goals. Sorry about that. Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Let's get the latest this morning on a stormy patch of weather with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
A morning shower or thunderstorm, then clouds and sun today. Humid with a high 92 and humid tonight. Mostly cloudy with a low 72. Another humid day tomorrow with clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm around 4 in the afternoon with a high of 94. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
63 officially at O'Hare, 64 along the lakefront. Next news 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Dr. Amy and Associates Integrative Medicine, now open in Hinsdale. Visit dramyandassociates.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, Amy,
Dan?
President Obama has endorsed a third term for President Obama. And a surprise to no one, he released a video endorsing the cackler, and he's jacked up, ready to get on the campaign trail.
He's in a new T-shirt. I'm with her.
Yeah.
He's going to stand behind her with a hashtag, I'm with her. This chick, that girl.
They're going to be wearing matching pantsuits, don't you know?
For more than a year now, across thousands of miles in all 50 states, tens of millions of Americans have made their voices heard. Today, I just want to add mine. I want to congratulate Hillary Clinton on making history as the presumptive Democratic nominee for President of the United States.
Cue music.
Look, I know how hard this job can be. That's why I know Hillary will be so good at it. In fact, I don't think there's ever been someone so qualified to hold this office.
Except for me.
Wow.
She's got the courage, the compassion, and the heart to get the job done.
Wow.
And I say that as somebody who had to debate her more than 20 times. Even after our own hard-fought campaign, in a testament to her character, she agreed to serve our country as Secretary of State. And from the decision we made in the Situation Room to get bin Laden, to our pursuit of diplomacy in capitals around the world, I have seen her judgment. I've seen her toughness. I've seen her commitment to our values up close. I've seen her determination to give every American a fair shot at opportunity, no matter how tough the fight was. That's what has always driven her.
What I haven't seen
is the Clinton
Foundation.
So I want those of you who've been with me from the beginning of this incredible journey to be the first to know that I'm with her. I am fired up, and I cannot wait to get out there and campaign for Hillary.
Yeah. I'm with her.
I'm with her.
I can't wait to see the I'm with her moo-moos at forthcoming Clinton rallies.
You're going to see it on Wednesday in Wisconsin. Obama and Clinton are going to be campaigning in Wisconsin.
See who can eat the most cheese?
Going to have a cheese curd contest.
Yeah. I would show up for that.
Yeah, but I mean, Obama's determined to help her make history this time, Dan. He's with her, but that one segment.
Excuse me, make herstory.
Oh, herstory? Oh, stop it. But that one segment where he said she's the most qualified person ever.
It's a great laugh line.
All right. What have you been doing for 8 years?
The guy
so
said cut up.
you're pretty much saying that you weren't qualified to run when you ran.
Well, the most qualified. I mean, think about the people who have served as president of the United States. If you can walk down memory lane for just a minute, the incredible statement that it is. I mean, it's very much like when President Obama says, he's top 5 president of all time. Lincoln, Washington. He's not going to say if he was more seminal, more important, more profound for the course of this nation's history than Washington or Lincoln. He's just in the conversation. That's for historians to determine.
Well, he shot that video on Tuesday, and of course, they released it only 2 hours after he met with Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
And it was ready to go.
Where he got the grand concession of Bernie Sanders to show his keen negotiating skills. The grand concession that Bernie Sanders will work to defeat Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's what
in the fall
he says he's going to do.
Needless to say, I am going to do everything in my power.
Then why'd you say it?
And I will work as hard as I can to make sure that Donald Trump does not become president of the United States. I will, of course, be competing in the D.C. primary, which will be held next Tuesday. This is the last primary of the Democratic nominating process.
There was something missing from that statement. What was it?
Congratulations to my challenger, Hillary Clinton.
Congratulations for winning the primary because it's over and I'm going to go away. That was what was not included in any of Bernie's statements. And he later sat down with Harry Reid.
Before we get to Harry, can I play you something? Because it's something that no station is playing. This is audio you're only going to hear here.
Which is what?
He is not giving up. He still thinks that he could win California. I'm not kidding you. I listen to CNN. I watch Fox.
Can still win California.
Yeah. No, this is not altered audio. This is what he said yesterday.
Also, I look forward to the full counting of the votes in California, which I suspect will show a much closer vote than the current vote tally.
Okay.
I spoke briefly to Secretary Clinton on Tuesday night, and I congratulated her on her very strong campaign. I look forward to meeting with her in the near future to see how we can work together to defeat Donald Trump and to create a government which represents all of us and not just...
Yawn.
But I mean, he still seems a little... he didn't lose as badly in California. That he might come out the winner.
Who cares? Who cares?
That was not a concession speech. That was just...
right. That's right. He's not conceding. He's continuing on with the campaign. And his point when he uses phraseology, we're going to work together to defeat Donald Trump, he doesn't say who's going to play what role in that working relationship, does he? No. This is going on for Bernie Sanders, even if he's at half staff, meaning that he's...
Excuse me, Dan.
He's relieving half of his staff.
A little too soon. He is in his 70s like you.
He's at half staff, and...
Can you... That's my creep word. I hate that word.
What?
You don't like the word moist. I hate the word staff.
Staff?
Okay, don't say it again. He has half the employees that he used to have, yeah.
Did you... Were you punctured by a staph as a young girl or something?
Maybe I had a staph infection, okay?
Yeah. So Bernie Sanders, all right, he later sat down with Harry Reid for afternoon tea. And those...
Is this before they went back to the home to have the Jell-O?
Yeah, seriously, those two look a little bit out of sorts. He was asked a question about, an endorse of Hillary, about President Obama's endorse of Hillary, because that's the only person who endorsed Hillary yesterday. And here was Bernie Sanders' response.
Senator Sanders, what is your reaction to the president endorsing Hillary Clinton today?
What do you want to tell Senator Reid? And Senator Reid, what do you want to tell Senator Sanders?
Okay, you guys, we're not going to take any questions. That's kind of the deal that I made, and Bernie said that it was okay with him for now. A lot of time to answer questions, but not now.
Thanks, everybody. Senator Sanders, you come talk to us in the hall afterwards.
All right, thanks.
Hey, thanks for coming out.
Bernie was the Madame Tussauds Bernie Sanders, because he was like a wax statue just staring off into space when he was asked, what do you think of President Obama endorsing Hillary? He offered no response. His lips did not move, and then Harry Reid had to intervene to say, no questions.
Well, probably because that wasn't discussed when President Obama met privately with Bernie Sanders yesterday. He looked a little shell-shocked, like, wait, that's not what we just talked about. What happened?
Well, he knows he's going to get that question, and this is what Bernie Sanders consciously chose to do in terms of characterizing the meeting with President Obama, what he's willing to do in support of Hillary to this point, and of course, he's not going to say a cross word about President Obama at this juncture, at least. The other interesting piece of this, of course, is the question about the pending criminal investigation into the presumptive nominee that President Obama endorsed yesterday, because, as James Rosen, our friend from Fox News Channel, put it to Josh Earnest, doesn't that create a bit of a conflict? What kind of signal does it send to career prosecutors and career federal investigators that the President of the United States wants this person who's under criminal investigation to succeed him? Does that have any chilling effect in terms of how prosecutors and investigators do their job? Is that any indication of what Department of Justice is going to do, regardless of how this shakes out with the FBI? This was a useful exchange.
So when a career prosecutor or an FBI agent who's working on the Clinton investigation hears this president speak openly of how he wants Hillary Clinton to succeed him, you don't think that career prosecutor or that FBI agent takes that as some indication of how the president wants to see this case resolved?
No. I think that those career prosecutors understand that they have a job to do, and that job that they are supposed to do, which is to follow the facts, to pursue the evidence to a logical conclusion, that is a job that they are responsible for doing without any sort of political interference. And the president expects them to do that job. And look, this is the reason that we actually ask career federal prosecutors to take the lead on these kinds of matters. They're the ones who conduct this investigation. They are not, they don't have political jobs. They have career jobs as law enforcement officers.
Oh. Inherent conflict? No. Don't worry about it. We're not going to intercede on Hillary's behalf with respect to the FBI or the Department of Justice. We'll see how that plays out, at least on the former. I still have hope for the former. Of course, I have no hope for the latter. By the way, and I'm a warning here.
Dan's hands are up.
If you're eating,
don't shoot.
If you're eating food, just put it down.
Okay.
All right.
Let me move over my shake.
Step away from any food. I also wanted to add this, just when you think this election cycle could not get more grotesque. This from Joy Behar.
Oh.
One of those man-hating shrews on The View, you know?
She's actually funny. I don't agree with her politically, but she's succinct in what she says. Yes, I know what this is. Did you go to prom with Bernie Sanders?
No.
Did they make love last night?
She said, I'm sexually attracted to Sanders, but I want him to pull out.
Oh, ew. Come on.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Coming up next, tweet me like I want to be tweeted. Donald Trump responds to Obama endorsing Hillary Clinton. But first, here's your forecast. There's going to be a thunderstorm early this morning. It should wrap up around 9:30, 10 o'clock this morning. Then it's just going to be hot, humid, and sunny. Summer has arrived in a hot second. A high of 92 degrees. And then Saturday, we're going to have some clouds and sun. The temperature near the record high of 97 degrees. And on Sunday, it's going to be a lot cooler with sun and some clouds, a high of 76. It's a little bit of a roller coaster ride. Any travel times that are roller coaster rides there on Jim Telemonte? Here he is.
Well, Amy and Dan, I think good morning. I think drivers are losing their appetites. The outbound Ryan and the outbound Bishop Ford have got some real problems right now. First of all, the outbound Ryan at 47th. The ramp is blocked there coming from 47th after an earlier rollover semi, and there's a right lane closure on the Ryan. So you've got a brief slowdown in that area. And then it's stop and go from 91st to the Bishop Ford Freeway, where there was an earlier truck crash and fuel leak. There's still a right lane closure at Cottage Grove, so you've got probably about 10 minutes worth of delays there. And inbound, there's a Gapers delay on the Ford Freeway starting at 111th. 21 minutes, 8094 to the Ryan. I-57 inbound at 159th. The exits are closed till 6 a.m. with construction. And the inbound Ryan's getting a little heavy from Cermak into downtown. Elsewhere, roads are wet, but otherwise okay. Jim Talamonte, Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
If you have a new or existing business, understanding building and zoning codes, obtaining permits, licenses, and inspections can be a time-consuming nightmare. Well, I got a guy. I should say a fine company. Premier Consulting Group and my friend Bill Gertsonis is the company to call. From city and suburban retail business to residential and high-rise building permits, PCG holds your hand from the beginning to the very end. Bill and his veteran team have decades of experience and a commitment to meeting client needs. Your business will benefit from expedited permits and the peace of mind knowing that your business is in complete compliance. So I highly suggest you call my guy, Bill Gritsonis, and his team at Premier Consulting Group before your next project. Call Bill Gritsonis at 312-263-4599 or visit PCGconsultinginc.com. That number, 312-263-4599, or online at pcgconsultinginc.com. Call Bill Gritsonis at 312-263-4599 or visit pcgconsultinginc.com.
CertaPro painters are here for every stage of your life, from moving into a new home, creating the ideal nursery, to reinventing your living space. CertaPro painting experts create the perfect setting while you do life. They came to our home and brightened our walls and our moods so very quiet they wouldn't wake a baby. But the best part? They clean up after themselves so you don't have to do it. And now that spring is here, it is the perfect time to spruce up your home's exterior. Take a look at your home. Do you see chipping, peeling, fading? Well, leave it to CertaPro painting experts to refresh, renew, and protect your biggest investment, your home. Now is the time to call for your free estimate and schedule your exterior painting project. 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GOCERTA. That's CERTA with a C. Or visit CertaPro.com today, CertaPro.com. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so Bernie Sanders not the only one a little bit resistant to endorsing the competitor who vanquished him. Ted Cruz also not
Your guy.
enthusiastically jumping aboard the Trump train quite yet.
As I said before, I am looking and listening and watching the candidates. I'm doing the same thing millions of voters are doing, and time will tell.
Yeah, time will tell.
I'm telling you, we need some party unity soon because the Democrats are all rallying around Hillary. You had Obama coming out. Biden came out yesterday. Elizabeth Warren.
Wow.
Her job is going to be
big
the
endorsements.
attack. That's her job. She's going to be the attack dog on Donald Trump because she attacked him late last night. But speaking of the Trumpster, did you see his tweet? Within minutes of learning that President Obama endorsed Hillary, he tweeted, "Obama just endorsed crooked Hillary. He wants 4 more years of Obama, but nobody else does!" Exclamation point. And then Hillary tweeted back, which I thought was brilliant. And it has been the most retweeted tweet, I guess, in her political campaign. "Delete your account." Booyah. Isn't that good?
Just delete your account.
Uh-huh. And then Trump responded, "How long did it take your staff of 823 people to think that up? And where are your 33,000 emails that you deleted?"
I'll tell you what, I would prefer this campaign only exist on Twitter. So if they could just keep if they could just keep it to the Twitterverse, I think there's a lot of people who could get behind that. I think you could get party unity. I think you get American unity across party lines, I guess I should say.
Oh, and former New York Rep Anthony Weiner also weighed in. You ready for this?
Finally, he weighed in with
a picture
of his junk.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
He tweeted, "Too late for some of us." What? Oh wow, that was really riveting. What was that?
Was that like some kind of plea for help? By the way, have you seen the documentary Weiner?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
Is it good?
It's worth seeing. Here's what I would say about it. It's worth seeing just because Mrs. Carlos Danger speaks. And so you
you never hear her voice.
Right. So you get a little bit more texture into what Mrs. Carlos Danger is actually like, and a little bit of how she reacted and how she dealt with him running for mayor. And then, of course, the implosion there. The problem with it, it's worth watching. Weiner does not come off well.
Oh, he doesn't.
But there are moments where
is he likable?
No, he's a vile human being. But there's moments where they try and kind of cast him as, gosh, he's a hard charger trying to do the right thing, but he's just so fatally flawed that it's not going to happen for him. There's a little bit of that I don't like because there is nothing redeemable about Anthony Weiner.
Do they show any pictures of him being a stay-at-home mom? Like taking care of his kids?
He is still a man.
Okay, well,
And I've got the pictures to prove it.
Sorry, a stay-at-home dad excuse.
Yeah, they do show him play with this kid
Okay.
and stuff. So, they have a child, and so the child, I guess, makes
Or
them
baby.
redeemable. I should say nothing about him. The child is it makes them redeemable to some extent. But in terms of the two of them, it is a ghastly couple, and they are. And if, to the extent you think Mrs. Carlos Danger is just a victim in all this, she was material partner in
Really?
everything that happened, and the decision to run for mayor and support for him running for mayor. And she reluctantly, as it's presented in the documentary, but she made phone calls to raise money for him. And you remember she stood up at press conferences
Right.
for him. And
But then but then did they go into the fact that he was still sexting during that? And then what did they show her reaction to that?
Yeah,
Did she...
yeah, they have.
Oh, I can't.
bits
Now I
of
want
it.
to see it.
It's worth seeing.
All right, I
It's
found the
worth seeing.
Reince Priebus. I hate his first name.
Reince
Reince
Priebus?
Priebus.
Yeah.
So after that, he said, if anyone knows how to use a delete key, it's you. That was in reference to Hillary Clinton.
Oh, my gosh. It's getting worse.
I know.
But
So
that's
what did you
actually pretty
tweet?
good.
That was the best one.
Yeah, Reince is pretty good. He's on the stick. By the way, just in terms of documentaries, we've talked about Clinton Cash, and that's forthcoming. 8 right-leaning films are set for theatrical or online release that focus on Hillary. 8 between now and November will hit the big screen or online, including one offering from Dinesh D'Souza.
And also, Orange is the New Black is out this weekend.
Yeah,
It's about females in prison. That might be some foreshadowing because there is a politician in there.
Maybe a guest appearance from Hillary.
Misdemeanor Wiener.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You know the name Barbara Walters. Now remember the company, Ameritrust Mortgage.
Ameritrust Mortgage was formed along with a talented professional staff that makes your mortgage process easy, swift, and cost-efficient for you, the home buyer, and for those who refinance. Ameritrust is all-inclusive, start to finish, the way lending should be. At Ameritrust, we believe it has been our privilege to have helped thousands of people over 30 years with purchasing or refinancing their home. We are here to help. Let us customize a loan program for your specific needs, FHA, VA, or conventional. At Ameritrust, the responsibility belongs to me. It's my name on the door. I am the president. I am Barbara Walters. Call Ameritrust now, 815-459-7303. Again, that number is 815-459-7303, or visit us at am560myhome.com.
Ameritrust Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee number 720. NMLS number 217229.
AM 560. The Answer.
Oh, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer. I thought we were singing.
Yeah.
I like you like cue music.
No, we're gonna cut the album after the show. Coming up, the Ninth Circuit says there is no individual right to carry a concealed weapon. Now you've got circuit courts of appeals in conflict with one another. Boy, it makes that Scalia vacancy that much more important at 5:38.
And later, remember that missing Chihuahua that we told you about? Well, turns out he belonged to another family. Now there's fighting. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. 65 degrees. The Los Angeles County Fire Department this morning says has no immediate reports of damage from a moderate earthquake in the Palm Springs area this morning. A magnitude 5.1 tremor was centered about 20 miles south of Rancho Mirage. Having now formally endorsed Hillary Clinton, President Obama will campaign with the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee next week, heading to Green Bay, Wisconsin.
And I'm with her. I am fired up, and I cannot wait to get out there and campaign for Hillary.
The president met with Clinton's rival Bernie Sanders yesterday, but the Vermont senator shows no signs of ending his presidential bid.
Well, here we are in mid-June, and we're still standing.
Senator Sanders under increasing pressure to end his campaign. Former Stanford swimmer convicted of sexual assault could get out of jail early. Brock Turner was sentenced to 6 months in a county jail after being convicted of 3 felony counts of sexual assault. Jail records show he is scheduled for release September 2nd. Investigators are examining debris found off the coast of Australia and Madagascar to see if it belongs to a Malaysian airliner that vanished over the Indian Ocean 2 years ago. Hot weather pouring into the Chicagoland area this morning as the National Weather Service says highs will reach the low 90s with heat indexes soaring into the 100s by tomorrow. Governor Bruce Rauner and his wife made a public appearance together one day after it was reported Diana Rauner's nonprofit organization is suing her husband's administration over funding. The appearance was part of a cabinet discussion about youth policies. A North suburban Lindenhurst man accused of making pipe bombs in his home is now facing federal charges. Michael Suppies was ordered held without bond yesterday on one count of knowingly possessing an unregistered destructive device. And prepare to dig deep or get really lucky if you want to see the Chicago production of the Broadway smash Hamilton when it comes to town in September. Tickets go on sale Tuesday, June 21st, and will run as high as $600 for premium seats during the holidays. However, there will also be an online lottery for more than 18,000 seats to be sold for $10. Sox beat the Nationals 3-1 after shaking up their roster and designating pitcher Matt Latos for assignment. Cubs begin a 3-game set with the Braves tonight in Atlanta. The news service of Subway. Try a hot, delicious Subway breakfast sandwich built just the way you want it, like egg whites and cheese with tomato and fresh spinach on toasted flatbread. Customize it with your choice of cheese, fresh veggies, Black Forest ham or steak, even jalapenos. The Subway Sandwich Shop, fresh is what we do. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The average Republican voter out there right now is looking for an outsider who will blow the whole damn thing up.
The Joe Walsh Show.
I don't want somebody who comes from Washington. I don't want somebody to get along with Democrats, not this year. I want the whole system blown up. That's why Trump, or that's why Cruz.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This year, that's where Republican voters are at.
Hey, let's get sentimental. Think about how much your father means to you. Now ask, what am I getting Dad for Father's Day on June 19th? It's weird, but did you know that 82% of all people don't know that you're supposed to change pillows every 2 years or less? That's because pillows absorb dead skin, dirt, skin, oils, and dust mites that can cause allergies, acne, asthma, and who knows what else. So if you haven't already done so, you need a washable MyPillow, and so does your dad. I may buy one for my dog Hunter. With a 10-year warranty, it's a great gift and health investment as well. And you'll sleep better. I do. That's why MyPillow is the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. Visit MyPillow.com or call 1-800-489-0201. Use the promo code Joe for the 2-for-1 offer. Keep one for you. Do it now. 800-489-0201 or online at MyPillow.com. Promo code Joe. 800-489-0201.
LiveWatch helps you connect and respond up to 10 times faster in an emergency. LiveWatch has no long-term contracts. Save up to 50% off home security. Call 855-LiveWatch or visit LiveWatch.com.
Are you hiring? Do you know where to post your job to find the best candidates? Posting your job in one place isn't enough to find quality candidates. If you want to find the perfect hire, you need to post your job on all the top job sites. And now you can. With ZipRecruiter.com, you can post your job to 100-plus job sites, including social media networks like Facebook and Twitter, all with a single click. Find candidates in any city or industry nationwide. Just post once and watch your qualified candidates roll in to ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface. No juggling emails or calls to your office. Quickly screen candidates, rate them, and hire the right person fast. Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by over 400,000 businesses. And right now, listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/trial. That's ZipRecruiter.com/trial. One more time. To try it for free, go to ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
5:37 In our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center, here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Stevenson, traffic is slow Harlem to Kedzie and approaching the Ryan. It's 38 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan has delays starting around 31st, 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. Outbound 19. It is slow approaching 47th, where there's a right lane closure due to an earlier truck crash. Then it's slow 91st out of the Bishop Ford. An earlier crash and fuel leak at Cottage Grove still has the right lane closed. Inbound, the Gapers delay on the Ford Freeway starts at 115th. Already looking at about 10 minutes worth of delays there on the inbound Ford Freeway. I-57 inbound exits to 159th. They're closed with overnight work till 6 this morning. Traffic is a service of Cece's Pizza. Can you believe it? Cece's now has 3 stuffed crust pizzas. Original pepperoni, new pretzel, and new bacon stuffed. Try them all and your other Cece's favorites for just $5 and change. The Cece's buffet just got better. Believe it. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. A thunderstorm crossing the area early this morning, followed by hot and humid conditions. A little poke of sun as well, too. High 92. Warm and humid overnight, low 72. 63 at O'Hare, 67 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is powered by CharlesEquipment.com, keeping the lights on through summer storms.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
I'm not a Neil Young fan, are you? No.
I didn't even know he sang that song. Oh, look how quickly it disappeared.
See? That's how quickly.
Wow,
your
Dan
career
has a lot
can
of
go.
power here,
Yeah.
huh?
Just ended Neil Young rocking in the free world. Hippie.
Keep it rocking in the free world.
I'll tell you, go take a shower, Neil Young.
Or
How
wait,
about
you know
that?
what? I got a better one. Cut your hair.
Yeah,
Shave.
exactly.
Use Harry's razors.
Harrys.com.
Yeah. Buy yourself one of them bad boys. Keep it clean.
Little tip for you. Some state stuff. The bond rating agencies have officially downgraded Illinois to the Venezuela of the Midwest.
Wait, how can we get any lower?
3 notches above junk. By the way, that despite the fact there's a $500 million bond sale scheduled for the summer. Illinois, Moody's weighed in, S&P weighed in.
Did you just say Illinois?
Moody's weighed in.
Moody's, okay.
And S&P weighed in. Illinois downgraded to the lowest bond rating for any state in the nation in more than a decade.
Wow.
But now here's the thing, and this is where we go back again to say, understand the institutional beneficiaries of big government are not aligned with the reform conservative movement. I mean, that sounds like kind of pro forma on its face, but people say big banks, investment bankers, rich people, and they're all Republicans, all those financial services guys. Well, one of the reasons they're still allowing Illinois to borrow is because a lot of those investment banks think Illinois is still a better bet than California. You know why?
Why?
Not because we're in better fiscal shape, because we're not, but because Illinois hasn't capped out on its ability to tax. So, in other words, California is already
capped?
Well, California's already gone to a graduated state income tax and confiscatory taxation on the income side, where Illinois still has a flat tax. We haven't gone to the graduated tax. We haven't gone to a millionaire surcharge. We haven't gone to taxing retirement income. Those are things California has done, so they're kind of maxed out. Illinois isn't maxed out, so those in the bond markets, they're okay with it. They're a better bet because of Illinois' still what they see room to increase taxes. Well, that's not exactly being on the side of the angels, is it? So I got a problem with that, but it's worth noting. By the way, of course, who pays the Soprano-like juice on our borrowing, whether it's at the city of Chicago or at the state level? It's not the bond fairy, folks. It's you. So more money that we're going to pay we're going to offer up, be forced to offer up, to make interest payments, the premium we're paying to borrow because we're such a financial wreck as a state, and that is money that will not go to improving your quality of life in any material way. It's just lost money. It's the penalty you pay for having bad governance in Illinois, for being the worst governed state in the nation.
Well, where are we getting this money to even pay the interest?
Well, it's a pay as you go. It's a pay. I mean, literally as you get it in, not a pay as you, not pay go like, kind of you've budgeted for and you pay down an obligation or you finance a program as you go, as you actually have the money. This is make commitments and then just pay pennies on the dollar as you get money in. And oh, by the way, Leslie Munger, the state comptroller, said after the end of this month, which is the end of the fiscal year, her office will have no authority to write any checks from the state treasury unless the legislature passes a state budget. So this is also where the rubber starts to meet the road. And we've talked about this, the idea that until, it seems, in Illinois, people feel real punishment that impacts their life in a more substantial way than just, high property taxes, reduced economic opportunities, poor educational institutions. I guess that's not enough. But perhaps when no checks go out to vendors and social service providers and schools, perhaps if that does come to pass, that will be the clarifying moment where, okay, everything is seized up. And so we're going to have a real conversation about how to structurally reform the state going forward. I suspect that won't happen. I suspect what is more likely to happen is what Ronner proposed, or some facsimile of it, which is a stopgap budget so the schools can open. And we'll continue this kabuki dance.
But every time Leslie Munger speaks, I listen. And yesterday when she
like E.F.
spoke,
Hutton.
No, I know it's true. And I thought yesterday, okay, I want to hear what she has to say. Will schools really be closed? Because everyone seems to have a political agenda, but to me, she doesn't. She just tells it like it is. And realize, you know what, there is a possibility that schools could possibly not open next fall. And teachers are realizing that we're losing 3 more teachers. People are so fed up with Chicago public schools that they're just leaving. They're going to the nice little suburbs where at least they're guaranteed to be employed come the fall.
Well, yeah. I mean, instead of talking about how poor CPS is doing in terms of educating children and how they can improve the product they're providing, the system they operate, what do they talk about? They talk about, Ronner said, he compared our schools to crumbling prisons, and we're offended. Ronner said, their schools are like crumbling prisons, but he can't name one.
I know.
I mean, these are completely immaterial comments from people that are flacking for a system even they cannot defend in terms of performance and performance given resources as well. They can cry poor all they want. That's all they do. But we know what the numbers are. We know how much more CPS spends per pupil than most of those suburban school districts that you're talking about. We know what has happened in terms of the increase in funding for CPS in real terms over the last 15 years. We know where the money's being spent to some extent. The new money, at least, it's being spent on increase on pension obligations. It's not being spent in the classroom. It's being spent on adults. And I understand that those adults in the system are part of providing a quality education. But the entire system shouldn't be geared toward the salaries and benefits of the adults. It should be geared toward the educational output. In other words, are we preparing children to be successful in life? And the answer in CPS is a resounding no.
And can I get something off of my chest? Because yesterday they came out with this list of 12 schools that tested positive for lead. That was a lie, because our school tested positive for lead. They brought, every school has one faucet or one sink that tested positive for lead. Ours was in the boiler room, which is rarely used, they said, but also in a water fountain in the basement directly across from the kindergarten classes, room B6. So when they come out and tell the media, this is the list of the 12 schools, and we're going to be doing lead testing for the children at these 12 schools, there's other kids who've been drinking this poison water for years. And they're slowly trying to release and leak the information so that this doesn't become a catastrophic situation where all the schools have to be shut down. So there might be something to Ronner saying that the schools are in bad shape,
Well, they
such
are.
as prisons.
A lot of the schools are. We've seen pictures We've had, I mentioned Kyle Hillman, who's a liberal lobbyist in Springfield. He posted a picture of literally a crumbling classroom in his neighborhood with, paint peeling off the ceilings and so forth. I'm not making this up. Oh, by the way, and I don't know. I guess people just leave. This doesn't matter either. It's not enough to make them change their behavior. In terms of homes underwater, for years, Las Vegas has been the prime example of the housing bubble and bust, with nearly 3/4 of mortgage homeowners underwater.
Wow!
When the market bottomed out in the first quarter of 2012. But I'll tell you what's happened 4 years later. Chicago now has the highest negative equity rate among large U.S. markets, surpassing Las Vegas in the first quarter of 2016. The highest percentage of underwater homes for a major market, city of Chicago. And your property tax bill is not going the other way as your home value is relative to your mortgage. So you're going to, in most places, you're starting to pay for your house another half a time to another full time because of the property tax burden. So that's Chicago too. And I don't know. I don't know what will precipitate the watershed moment where we decide if we're going to just continue to run screaming towards the edge of the cliff or we're going to pull back and reconsider what we're doing. I don't know. Because all of this, I guess, just leaves people in a state of hopelessness where they throw up their hands and they just say, well, it can always get worse, or, well, I can do nothing about it. And so they just settle for what they have. And this is what they get, this kind of representation. This is an exchange about the budget. 500-page budget that Madigan threw down on the members of the House with 2 hours to look at it before they voted. An exchange between Barbara Flynn Curry, who's Mike Madigan, Speaker Madigan's majority leader in the House, and State Representative Dwight Kay, who's a Republican from Southern Illinois and a manufacturer by profession. He just was going down the line items, asking Barbara Flynn Curry, what this money was for. Listen to this exchange.
Leader Curry, I believe you were presenting the bill yesterday. So I'm going to page 7, and I'm asking, when you have a state that's penniless, why you'd be looking at a pilot program at this point in time for $2,600,000.
Because it has value.
I see. How about page 13, section 120? The sum of $750,000 for the fairgrounds in DuQuoin. Is that something we spend when we're penniless? Does that have value?
Continuing appropriation.
Well, does that have value?
Clearly it did, or it would never have been in the budget.
Oh, sure. Everything in the budget has value by definition. And it goes on.
And may I just suggest to the chair and to the body that if you're going to go through the budget with one line after another, my answer will continue to be ditto. And I don't know that that is a useful expenditure of scarce legislative time.
Here's the problem, and I won't put the body through this. It's pretty obvious you've never run a business, you've never had to account for money, and debt has no impact on you whatsoever, especially when it has to do with taxpayer funds. I'm not going to go through this. This is simply embarrassing.
Ditto. To even question line items. Real money being spent, a budget that spends $40 billion when we have $32.5 billion in revenue. And Barbara Flynn Curry, the majority leader, Mike Madigan's majority leader in the House, is put out by the notion that she would have to go through line item by line item and explain what this expenditure is for, what that expenditure for. It just has value. It wouldn't be in the budget. I'm done answering questions. That's the kind of representation Chicago has offered this state, and it's the kind of representation we'll continue to get until people decide that they want something better.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Thunderstorms this morning. They should wrap up around 9:30, 10 o'clock. Then it's going to be hot and humid with sunshine, a high of 92 degrees. Then tomorrow, Saturday, clouds and sun. We could hit a temperature high near the record of 97 degrees. We can't rule out a evening thunderstorm. And then on Sunday, it's going to be cooler with some sun and clouds, a high of 76. So up and down in the weather department, what's it like on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Sadly, Amy, ditto. On the Bishop Ford Freeway outbound at Cottage Grove, there's a right lane closure after an earlier crash and fuel leak. There are delays in both directions. On the outbound Ryan, the delays start at 91st going onto the Ford Freeway. And inbound, it's already a 10-minute delay from 115th to Cottage Grove. And then on the Rhine, we're already looking at 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Stevenson Expressway, fairly routine. It's still Harlem to Kedzie and State to King Drive, about 40 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Clear outbound. Edens, Kennedy, still good. Inbound Eisenhower, you've got about a 4-minute delay from Manheim to Des Plaines Avenue. Inbound I-57 at 159th, the exits have been closed for overnight work. Those ramps should now be reopening. The tollways look good. No significant delays to report right now in Northwest Indiana. I'm Jim Talamonte, Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Man, I want to take a minute to talk to you about shaving. If you're like me, shaving can be a real inconvenience. It can be time-consuming, and if you're using inferior products, it can be uncomfortable. Well, it's time to change all that. You need to do what I did, make the switch to products from Harry's.com. I've been shaving with the high-precision, super sharp blades from Harry's.com, and I'm getting an incredibly close and smooth shave. It's made me a believer in Harry's.com products. They've got it all: German-crafted blades, moisturizing, foaming shave gel, all at incredible prices. So stop using the junk you're using now and order from Harry's.com. It's a great gift to give for Father's Day. Your dad will appreciate a shaving kit from Harry's.com. Do this. Go to Harry's.com. That's Harry's, HARRYS.com. And when you check out, use the promo code PROFT. What will that do? That will get you $5 off your first order. You can thank me later. Go to Harry's.com and use the promo code PROFT at checkout and stop settling for anything less than a shave from Harry's.com.
You don't need a real estate agent with gimmicks. You need the selling power that only Ed Lukasik Jr. can give you.
I'm Ed Lukasik Jr., owner of RE/MAX Professionals. I know how to maximize the sale of your home.
Ed is listed in the top 30 RE/MAX agents nationwide.
When I list a home for you, I only represent you, not the buyer. I am fighting for your highest home value.
Ed Lukasik Jr., the #1 RE/MAX agent in Illinois for most closed listings.
I use the latest online and mobile technologies to market your home and drive buyer activity to my listings. That equals maximum exposure for my sellers.
Ed closed 260 homes last year. That's a home sold every 1.5 days.
I am an agent that has your best interests at heart. It's not about a quick sale. It's about negotiating to maximize every dollar so you get the highest value for your home.
Call Ed Lukasik Jr. of RE/MAX Professionals, 630-679-5454, 630-679-5454. Sell your house with the professionals. RE/MAX Professionals.
The company was born in the Civil War era. The year was 1866 when founder Christian Henry Hansen started C.H. Hansen in Chicago. The company grew, expanded, and even survived the Great Chicago Fire and the Great Depression to become the great company they are today, headquartered in their Naperville office and factory.
The C.H. Hansen Company stands proud with Chicago and Illinois as a great American hand tool manufacturer. In celebration of their 150-year anniversary, family-owned and operated C.H. Hansen thanks its employees and customers for their service and business. C.H. Hansen offers over 2,000 products, stock and custom in 8 different product categories, including steel stamps, stencils, metal tags, barricade and flagging tapes, Palmgren, makers of work-holding vices and metalworking machines, mechanics tools, and marketing tools. Visit chhansen.com for information. C.H. Hansen is Chicago and a proud part of Chicago and Illinois for 150 years strong and counting.
Now that spring has arrived, it's likely you're looking forward to the warmer weather. But if you're a business owner, facilities manager, or maintenance engineer, you risk the same potential problem every year. A complete system failure. In fact, up to half of all commercial air conditioning units fail upon startup each season due to the lack of regular maintenance and repair. Let the professionals at Air Comfort make a comprehensive assessment of your mechanical system before there's a problem. A poorly operating air conditioning system results in uneven temperatures and humidity problems, leading to unhealthy mold and mildew growth. Don't compromise your business's overall air quality. Schedule today with Air Comfort. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Even if you're under contract with another provider, let Air Comfort provide your second opinion. After all, there's a reason why hundreds of businesses have trusted Air Comfort with their mechanical maintenance for more than 80 years. That's Air Comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935.
FlexExecs is a talent recruiting firm who, for almost 3 decades, has helped their clients become more competitive by identifying the right talent for interim assignments or special projects at the mid to senior level. Flex Exec's roster of talent is superior and unmatched. Flex Execs will help you meet your deadlines and goals, control costs, and place the right people who will deliver desired results. Whether you need one person or a team of people in HR, accounting, finance, marketing, operations, or senior leadership, Flex Execs can help. Their clients trust them to find the right people fast who produce results immediately. Connect online with Flex Execs at flex2016.com or call 630-655-0563 and ask for Chris Swanson or Karen Murphy. That's 630-655-0563 or online at flex2016.com. Flex Execs, proud to be a sponsor of Dan and Amy's Business Tour. Flex Execs online at flex2016.com. Flex2016.com. Flex Execs, moving business at the speed of trust.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
At 5:59, here are the stories we're watching right now. Hot weather pouring into the Chicagoland area. The city releasing Gary McCarthy's emails. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. A string of high-profile endorsements for Hillary Clinton.
I'm with her. I am fired up.
Beginning with that online video from President Obama, recorded on Tuesday and released just after a White House meeting with Bernie Sanders. Fox Radio's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Lisa, while Sanders says he's going to take his issues to the Democratic National Convention, he made no mention of Clinton at a rally at RFK Stadium here in Washington, D.C.
Here we are in mid-June and we're still standing.
Vice President Biden also endorsed Clinton. Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren threw her support behind Clinton and continued her attacks against Donald Trump, calling him a total disgrace. The presumptive Republican nominee is facing reports that he's been sued at least 60 times by individuals and businesses who accuse him of failing to pay for work done in his various properties. Yesterday, Trump tweeted that the media is dishonest and against him. Lisa.
Thanks, Rachel. A California judge already facing a recall effort over a rape sentence is now having a tough time seating jurors for other cases, an unofficial boycott. Meantime, the ex-Stanford University swimmer he sentenced to 6 months in prison, Brock Turner, may serve only 3 with early release for good behavior.
Attorney Danielle DeSmith with California Women Lawyers says judges' sentencing discretion requires a balance
between allowing our judges enough latitude to account for the circumstances that change in every case, but also making sure that there's enough consistency so that we're ending up with a fair result.
Other attorneys have come out in support of the judge, noting Turner will have to register as a sex offender for life.
Fox Radio's Jessica Rosenthal. The White House giving the Pentagon more flexibility to launch airstrikes on the Taliban in Afghanistan, but still no direct combat role for the 10,000 U.S. troops still there. U.S.-backed forces now have a key ISIS-held town in Syria surrounded, cutting off all supply routes. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Cloudy skies, 65 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Hot weather on the way for the Chicago area. Highs in the low 90s, sweltering in the city and the suburbs with a heat index topping 100. Newly released emails detail the days after former Chicago Police Superintendent Gary McCarthy was fired in December. City handing over the documents yesterday after a Cook County judge granted a request made by the Chicago Tribune. The longer there's no budget, the more problems there will be. Illinois Comptroller Leslie Munger is warning that if there is not a budget in place by the beginning of the fiscal year in July, payments will not be made for things like MAP grants and 911 centers, along with the lottery. Evanston police have taken a 44-year-old woman into custody connected with a small explosion at a Target store in a bathroom. No one was hurt yesterday, and the damage was confined to one stall in the women's restroom. Police say there was no threat in connection with the explosion, and the incident was not related to Target's transgender bathroom access policy. Melky Cabrera doubled twice and drove in 2 runs. Miguel Gonzalez pitched 6 strong innings, securing a rotation spot with the shakeup that sent Matt Latos out for assignment. White Sox beat the Nationals 3-1. Sox open up a 3-game set with the Royals tonight at the Cell. Chris Coughlin back with the Cubs as they get set for a 3-game series with the Braves tonight in Atlanta. The news service of Cici's Pizza. Can you believe it? Cici's now has 3 stuffed crust pizzas, original pepperoni, pretzel, and new bacon stuffed. Try them all and your other Cici's favorites for just $5 and change. The Cici's buffet just got better. Believe it. 6:03 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity lays out what's at stake this election.
The media is ignoring all this anti-American, pro-Mexican flag violence at Donald Trump rallies. I mean, it's getting vicious out there.
There's a lot at stake this election.
If you're pro-life, if you're pro-Second Amendment, if you want to build the wall, if you want to repeal Obamacare, you want conservative justices, there's a lot at stake here. And the media wants Trump to lose, big time.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisements. Services may not be available in all states.
Attention women. New evidence shows that talcum powder products such as Johnson & Johnson's baby powder and shower to shower may cause ovarian cancer. If you or a loved one used talcum powder and were diagnosed with ovarian cancer, call 800-316-8580 right now. You may be entitled to significant cash compensation. Recently, Johnson & Johnson was ordered to pay $72 million in damages to the family of a woman who died of cancer she said was caused by the company's talcum powder. The jury found that Johnson & Johnson knew that these products could cause cancer and failed to warn consumers. If you or a loved one used talcum powder and were diagnosed with ovarian cancer, call 800-316-8580. You may be entitled to cash compensation. Time is limited. Call 800-316-8580 now. Our toll-free phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-316-8580. That's 800-316-8580. 800-316-8580.
QL1, this is Control. Does Rocket Mortgage require me to fill out a bunch of paperwork?
That's negative Control. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is the first on-demand mortgage machine that quickly and seamlessly imports your financial data. You can go through the entire mortgage process on your own and completely online.
Copy that, QL1, but if I wanted to speak to someone, do you think they're out there?
They're out there, all right. I've made contact before. In fact, according to J.D. Power, they've provided award-winning client service for 6 years in a row.
Roger that, QL1. It's nice to know they're out there, wherever they are.
Detroit Control. They're in Detroit. Over.
3, 2, 1.
Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage.
Rocket.
Visit for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
6:06 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Let's get the latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Edens Expressway at Old Orchard, the exit ramp is blocked partially right now. There's a light pole down there. The Kennedy inbound has heavy traffic. River Road toll to Cumberland, 22 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 20. On Eisenhower, 38 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 30 minutes. To Stevenson, 39 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound it's clear. Ryan, already 26 minutes. 95th to downtown, outbound 18. There's an off-ramp blocked at 47th due to an earlier crash. Right lane closure as well. And it's stop and go from 91st down to the Bishop 4th. Earlier crash and fuel leak at Cottage Grove. It's the right lane closed. Inbound Ford Freeway, 10 minutes worth of delays. 115th to Cottage Grove. On Tri-State Heavy from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Traffic as a service of Cici's Pizza. Can you believe it? Cici's now has 3 stuffed crust pizzas. Original pepperoni, new pretzel, new bacon stuff. Try them all and your other Cici's favorites for just $5 and change. The Cici's buffet just got better. Believe it. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, a shower or thunderstorm for the morning. Otherwise, it will be hot and humid with clouds and sun. High today, 92. Mostly cloudy, warm, and humid for tonight with a low of 72. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently, clouds and 66. Next news coming up at 6:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Alliance Home Service, providing the finest in in-home medical and non-medical care. Visit alliancecaregiver.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Look, I know how hard this job can be. That's why I know Hillary will be so good at it. In fact, I don't think there's ever been someone so qualified to hold this office.
I look forward to meeting with her in the near future to see how we can work together to defeat Donald Trump.
As I said before, I am looking and listening and watching the candidates. I'm doing the same thing millions of voters are doing, and time will tell.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Question, Amy. Do you think men and boys should beat up girls? Should men or boys be allowed to beat up girls? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 646-36DA, turnkey.pro text line.
Well, why do you ask, Dan? Because, of course, men should not beat up women.
What are you talking about?
That's what we teach children, to keep their hands to themselves and never hit a woman.
No.
No, it's changing.
What if it happens in an octagon? Is it okay then?
Oh, like cage fighting?
MMA, mixed martial arts.
No, that they have women's MMA and they have men's MMA.
Let me direct your attention to the fact that June is LGBTQ MRS NOPQT Awareness and Pride Month.
What color am I supposed to be wearing? Because you know how they always have a color associated with it.
I don't know. It's an excellent question.
Maybe purple.
Well, to your rather ignorant comments.
I'm sorry. Am I offending you?
Yeah.
Do you need a safe space? Do you need to go to Tyka Bowls to get in the little cribby with your
I need a
banky?
nap. No, you're not offending me. You're offending Fallon Fox.
Fallon Fox.
Fallon Fox is a man who identifies as a woman and is being celebrated during this month of June, this LGBT Pride Awareness Month of June, for his skills at beating women unconscious. I'm not kidding. He's a man who fights as a woman in MMA.
What's his name again?
Fallon Fox.
Fallon Fox.
Yeah.
So has he gone through with the operation? Has he had his naughty bits cut off yet?
Well, here's the thing about that. I mean, who cares?
No, because that's not, if you're going to be a woman, you've got to really commit to the cause.
Let me ask you.
And meaning you have to go through with the operation.
Here's an interesting question, too. Maria Sharapova, the tennis player.
Oh, yeah.
She just got suspended
busted,
for 2 years for doping.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know. She was one of the highest paid female athletes.
Performance-enhancing drugs. When a man goes to play women's sports, isn't he doping? He's on something called testosterone. And isn't that performance-enhancing?
Well, I think he's on estrogen because he's trying to become a woman, but that is a hormone. Yes, you can't. That's not legal.
So that's performance-enhancing, isn't it?
So I think we should slap Fallon Fox with a fine. Immediately, you're kicked out of the ring.
He'll slap you right back. No, he's not getting kicked out of the ring. And it's literally a question. Is it okay for boys to beat up girls? I mean, Fallon Fox is a man who has beaten up women in MMA to the point of unconsciousness.
Well, this isn't a fair fight.
What do you mean?
And if I was one of those women, they should form a solidarity and protest Fallon Fox getting in the cage.
Yeah, I think there's a good piece in Touchstone magazine by actually a friend of mine, Doug Johnson.
How's Doug doing?
He asked the question, what is the virtue of Fallon Fox? And he writes, I'd say there's about an inch of space left open in that window in the window of endure, pity, and then embrace. So we endure the stuff, the stuff we know to be wrong. Then we kind of pity it while people are struggling, and then we do full-on embrace. And I think, and he writes, I think there's about an inch of space left open in the window before endure to embrace. Everybody knows that men shouldn't beat up women or follow girls into the restrooms, say my friends, and that all this transgender business will finally turn the moral tide. And he writes, well, that's kind of an odd assertion. That's a little bit of wishful thinking during government-sanctioned LGBT month when both of America's presidential candidates have already come out in support of President Obama's position on transgenderism. I think he's got a point. And for those who embrace thinking they're so au courant, you're reminded of the observation of Chesterton. Don't be proud of the fact that your grandmother was shocked at something which you are accustomed to seeing or hearing without being shocked. It may be that your grandmother was an extremely lively and vital animal and that you are a paralytic. Point is, because we get accustomed to things doesn't make it right, and because perhaps someone from another generation is shocked or stunned or finds the idea of men beating up women objectionable, it doesn't make them all fuddy-duddies. It perhaps makes them a little bit more in touch with propriety. Now, on the flip side of this, for just kind of a ray of hope, Iowa high school wrestler Joel Northrup went 35-4.
Wow, that's good.
Every reason to dream of winning an Iowa wrestling championship, but he gave it all up in his first state tournament match yesterday. I'm sorry, this is not yesterday. This is a bit ago. Northrup, a homeschool sophomore who competes for high school, Linn-Mar High School.
Oh, yeah, Linn-Mar.
In Des Moines.
Yeah.
Said his religious beliefs wouldn't allow him to wrestle Cassie Herkelman, a ponytail freshman from Cedar Falls, who was one of the first two girls to qualify for the state tournament in its 85-year history. So he defaulted. He said in a statement, wrestling is a combat sport and it can get violent at times. As a matter of conscience and my faith, I do not believe it's appropriate for a boy to engage a girl in this manner. It's unfortunate I have been placed in a situation not seen in most other high school sports in Iowa. His father, who is a pastor, said, we believe in the elevation and respect of women, and we don't think that wrestling a woman is the right thing to do. Body slamming and takedowns, that full contact sport is not how to do that. What do you think about that? If Peyton and Eli were wrestlers, what would you say about that?
And his name was Joel Northrup, the wrestler.
Joel just said, no, I'm not going to wrestle Cassie because that's not, boys shouldn't be doing that to girls. No,
but she qualified to be there.
Yeah.
To the state match. I think it's a lot different. Wrestling is not, I don't think you can die wrestling. The MMA, you could die doing that. But she had the agility and she was a good wrestler to make it all the way to state in Iowa. That's a pretty big deal.
Her record.
That's a huge accomplishment. What was her record?
20-13.
I'd let him wrestle her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think so. I mean, I say this mockingly, the idea that we should eliminate, there are no male and female sports. Since there's no male and female anymore, there's just sport, and that would eliminate sports. So the only way to wake people up, is kind of talking about Illinois finances, is to precipitate a crisis, take away something they love by destroying the essence of it. And that's what you would do if you had boys and girls in sports together.
Right, but there's no girls wrestling team.
Well, one of two things would happen. Well, there are actually girls wrestling tournaments in states like
now there are?
California, Hawaii, Texas, Washington, and Tennessee sponsor girls-only high school wrestling tournaments.
Okay.
But if you combined, you would, the girls can't compete in these sports. I mean, they just can't. Yeah, there's the outlier that can compete for a time. But generally speaking, it's just the physical strength difference is too great.
What are you saying? Jimmy the Greek.
Jimmy the Greek.
Men have different muscles than women.
Is that
they have an extra muscle?
Is that news?
No. Yeah.
And so So you would do one of two things, right?
Right.
Sports would go away, or you would have to quota girls into sports, and sports would go away. So replace Derrick Rose at point with some, 5'6" mediocre basketball player from, I don't know, Loyola.
Mm-hmm.
See how many season ticket packages the Bulls are selling. Do that. That's the only way. But the issue of, in terms of a raise of hope for people that say, I'm not going to participate in this because it's wrong, even if it costs me a chance at winning a state championship. This is a little bit of hope for me, this young man, Joel Northrup in Iowa, that says, no, I'm not going to do that because boys shouldn't treat girls that way. It shouldn't be embraced. It shouldn't be sanctioned any more than Fallon Fox should be beating up women in the MMA octagon. Sherry in Des Plaines, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi. My son was in wrestling started in middle school and went on through high school, and his first match in 6th grade was against a girl. And it was awkward as all get out because, where do you grab her? It's not even so much, he's in 6th grade.
Right.
There's a lot of grabbing going on in wrestling. It was just awkward as all get out.
Did he wrestle her, though?
Pardon me?
Did he compete or did he forfeit or default?
He did compete. He got his butt kicked because he wasn't sure where to hold her.
Yeah.
Well, right.
That happens too. When my kids, if they're in traveling basketball teams and there's a girl on the other team, they guard her differently. And I'm like, don't guard her differently. Get in her face. And they said, but Mom, you teach us to respect women, and now we have to get in her face and possibly foul her. And I said, yeah, foul her.
Thanks
Get
for the
ball.
call.
Well, the basketball.
Oh, sorry, Sherry. I didn't mean to cut you off. Thanks for the call, though.
But it's just because it's opposite of what we're teaching our boys to do.
So we should teach them it's okay to roughhouse with women. It's okay to beat women unconscious.
But if women want to be in the man's world and play like a boy rather than play like a girl, then we have to treat them fairly.
No.
I know I could
No.
never win a debate with you, but I'm not trying. But I'm just saying.
Well,
that
I mean,
because there's no women's the high school that this girl came from. There's no women's wrestling team, and she wants to be a wrestler. So she tried out and made the only wrestling team at her high school.
If I wanted to play in the NFL,
right? What position would you be? Nose guard.
They would not let me play because I would be killed, right? So because a girl says, I want to play football, I want to play, I want to wrestle, or a boy says, I identify as a girl from the kid or the boy running track at state in Alaska against the girls to this stuff, because you want to do something, that's the end of the conversation? No, it isn't. And the question about culture, again, is it okay? Are we going to sanction and embrace this idea under some misguided notion of fairness or equality? Men beating up women, girls beating up boys. This is where, I mean, boys beating up girls. This is where it goes. This is where it all goes. And there's no getting around it. So you have to answer that question. Everybody who supports this has to answer that question. Is it okay for men to beat up women? Is it okay for boys to beat up girls under the umbrella of sport? Is that what sport is to you? Alan in Elk Grove.
Hey, Dan, Amy. My question is, Amy says she deserves to be there because she has 20 wins. How many of those 20 wins were by default because other boys didn't want to wrestle her, too?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question, though. Thanks for the call, Alan.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one. Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
But wait, there's more. There's now transabled people. Transabled. Disabled, transabled. Wait till you hear this story. But first, here's your forecast. We're going to have thunderstorms, some soggy stuff rolling through here. It should be out of here by 10 o'clock this morning. Then it's going to be hot and humid with intervals of sunshine, a high of 92 degrees. Tomorrow, we could break a record of 97 degrees. It's going to be that hot and humid around here, and we can't rule out a PM thunderstorm. And on Sunday, the bottom kind of drops out and the humidity leaves. It's going to be a lot cooler with some sun, some clouds, a high only of 76 degrees. Now let's get the travel times. How's that outbound Bishop Ford? Here's Jim Telemonte with the answer.
Good Friday morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Bishop Ford outbound, it's still slow. Actually, delays start on the outbound ride at 91st, continuing onto the Ford Freeway, where at Cottage Grove, the right lane is blocked after a much earlier crash and fuel leak. So you've got a travel time on the outbound ride of about 19 minutes downtown to 95th, and on the Ford from about 5 minutes worth of delays from the Ryan to Cottage Grove. Inbound, you're looking at about a 10-minute delay with gapers and the usual morning delay there on the Ford Freeway. Inbound Ryan getting heavy with the delays and the locals starting at 51st and the express at 47th. 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. Inbound Edens, it's a 2-minute delay, Peterson to the junction. Outbound it's 5. Kennedy, 23 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 21. Eisenhower, now 40 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 35. The Stevenson, 40 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home? Then you need to do what I did, and that's call David Hochberg, Vice President of Lending, at Pearl Mortgage. Patrick's heard David's ads but wanted to contact a realtor before purchasing a home in Skokie. Bad move. Not getting pre-qualified by David before talking with a realtor is like getting a vasectomy from a urologist without an ice machine. This happened to David. Not good. David pre-qualified Patrick to purchase a home and introduced him to Lauren Shu, his Home Sweet Home Chicago radio host and North Shore realtor, to purchase that home. Now, purchasing a home won't be overwhelming if you call David first. David can pre-qualify you for free and introduce you to his team of preferred realtors who will help locate that perfect home. So if you're purchasing a home and want to work with a team of experts that'll always look out for your best interest, then call David first. 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. David helped me, and he's helped thousands of AM560 listeners. But guess what? He can't help you if you don't call. So call the number 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358 NMLS 19186.
Ow. Hey, I want to tell you about my friends at Guardian Security Services, because here's the deal. If you're unhappy with your door staff or on-site security officers at your business or property, or you're just not receiving the services you were promised, there's no reason to tolerate it. Call my friends right now at Guardian Security Services to discuss your security officer needs. These guys are amazing. They've been Chicago's best for 41 years. They only assign the most professional, highly trained security officers in all of Chicagoland. Their vetting practices are exceptional. If you're finally ready to explore an alternative to your current security officer provider, then doggone it, do it. Pick up the phone right now and schedule a free security assessment with my friends at Guardian Security Services. Tell them me, Joe Walsh, sent you. Right now, call 708-385-3300. Again, 708-385-3300 or online at GuardianSecurityInc.com.
CertaPro painters are here for every stage of your life, from moving into a new home, creating the ideal nursery, to reinventing your living space. CertaPro painting experts create the perfect setting while you do life. They came to our home and brightened our walls and our moods so very quiet they wouldn't wake a baby. But the best part? They clean up after themselves so you don't have to do it. And now that spring is here, it is the perfect time to spruce up your home's exterior. Take a look at your home. Do you see chipping, peeling, fading? Well, leave it to CertaPro painting experts to refresh, renew, and protect your biggest investment, your home. Now is the time to call for your free estimate and schedule your exterior painting project. 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GOCERTA. That's CERTA with a C. Or visit CertaPro.com today. CertaPro.com. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so is it cool in the sporting arena for men to beat up women? That's the question, and part of something we should celebrate it with LGBT Pride Month. Jordan in Forest Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan and Amy, we get the Olympics coming up, and you might be interested to know that the Olympics have already weighed in on this. And I don't know when it's going to start, but if you identify as a woman, and you're biologically a male, you will be able to compete in the women's events. Now, they do have a test. They do have a testosterone test, and I don't know how they do it exactly, but if you pass that, there you go.
There's I know there's a transgender person competing. She was competing, or he was competing. I don't remember which. In the decathlon, trying to qualify for the decathlon. I don't know if that happened. Thanks for the call, Jordan. Yeah.
Gross.
Darren in Valpo.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning.
I was a martial arts instructor for 15 years and had adult students and youth students. And I'd take students to local and regional tournaments. And they, in the youth division, they don't separate the girls from the boys. They say all green belts or all blue belts line up by height. And then they count them and they put them into 8 or 10 or 12 person divisions. And 2 of my students happened to be sparring for first and second place trophies. And one was a female and one was a male. And he should have beaten her handily. They sparred every day in class. They trained with each other. He was considerably better, but he was afraid to put it on her when they got into the tournament. And
he's a gentleman. Yeah.
You know, I couldn't understand why you know, I'm saying, Jason, you know, what's going on? And she's just beating him point after point. And you know, I was extremely proud that both my students took first and second place. But I talked to him after the tournament and said, look, you don't have to smash her face to beat her. You know, you can use controlled techniques to score the points necessary. So I had to work with him in case this situation came up again. Now, in 1990, which is about when this was, everything wasn't as gender sensitive as things are now. You know, but I just wanted to let you know. I mean, I told them both that if you're going to be in a contact sport that is not, you know, gender separated, you've got to be prepared to fight against the other sex, and you've got to do your best to win. So that's my opinion on that.
Thanks for the call, Darren. Appreciate it.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
If you could quickly and painlessly clear your psoriasis or vitiligo, would you?
No matter how big the psoriasis is, no matter how small the psoriasis, we can help you.
Ashley is a clinical specialist for X-Track, the amazing in-office treatment for psoriasis and vitiligo that's clinically proven to show immediate results with up to 95% clearance.
What my patients love most about the X-Track treatments is it's safe, it's FDA cleared, and they're seeing results very quickly.
And the embarrassing, painful patches and discoloration with X-Track. There's no medications, no topical ointments, and virtually no side effects. X-Track uses light to transform your skin and change your life. It's covered by all major insurances and Medicare, and will help you find a doctor close by.
I love what I do. I love coming in every day and making a difference in patients' lives. It's amazing.
Call now to live X-Track Clear. Call 800-978-3554. That's 800-978-3554. 800-978-3554, or visit xtracradio.com. Qualified patients, certain restrictions apply.
Father's Day a week from Sunday, so there's still time to get your dad the gift of a great night's sleep. And there's a health reason, too, why you should get your dad a MyPillow. You know, it's kind of gross to talk about, but people don't know that you're supposed to change pillows every 2 years or less. That's because pillows absorb dead skin, dirt, skin oils, dust mites, and who knows what else. It can cause allergies, acne, asthma. So if you haven't already done so, you need a washable MyPillow, and so does your dad. With a 10-year warranty, it's a great gift and health investment. And you'll sleep better, too. I know that I do. That's why MyPillow is the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. So visit MyPillow.com. Use the promo code Amy, 2 for the price of 1. Keep 1 for yourself. Give 1 to Dad. Or you can go old school and call this number, 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Madigan's little girl, Lisa, can't find corruption in Illinois, but she is tackling Jimmy John's. We'll talk to a Dixon mayor, or the mayor of Dixon, who is also a Jimmy John's franchise owner, about little Lisa's litigation at 6:36.
And remember that missing Chihuahua who found his way home thanks to Chicago police? Well, another family is coming forward saying that's our dog. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. The president plans to campaign with Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton beginning next week. following the president's formal endorsement of his former Secretary of State. The president throwing his support behind the likely Democratic nominee yesterday, along with Senator Elizabeth Warren, who also lashed out against Donald Trump.
Trump is picking on someone who is ethically bound not to defend himself. Exactly what you would expect from a thin-skinned racist bully.
Trump is headed to Richmond, Virginia for a rally, and police are getting ready there. Demonstrators planning an anti-Trump march outside the Richmond Coliseum. This morning, some Twitter accounts have been locked following a password leak. Users are being asked to reset passwords after millions of passwords were compromised. A strong magnitude 5.2 earthquake blamed for shaking parts of Southern California. Overnight, it was a shallow quake centered near the San Jacinto Fault. Hot weather hits the Chicagoland area today. Highs in the low 90s. Heat index values up over 100. A North Suburban Lindenhurst man accused of making pipe bombs in his home is facing federal charges. Michael Suppies was ordered held without bond yesterday on one count of knowingly possessing an unregistered destructive device. Melky Cabrera doubled twice, scored 2 runs. Miguel Gonzalez, 6 strong innings of work. Sox over the Nationals, 3-1. Cubs begin a 3-game set with the Braves tonight in Atlanta. And the news, a service of CiCi's Pizza. Can you believe it? CiCi's now has 3 stuffed crust pizzas, original pepperoni, pretzel, and new bacon stuffed. Try them all and your other CiCi's favorites for just $5 and change. The CiCi's Buffet just got better. Believe it. 6:34 is our time. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes the GOP is missing a huge opportunity.
That has been the great failure of the Republican Party, not to talk about the damage the left does. They talk about individuals, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, doesn't mean a thing. If you support the left, you are supporting the damaging, perhaps irreparably, of the society. I know you mean well, and it doesn't matter.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Tea times, golf outings, driving range, golf academy, brunch, dinner, weddings, banquets, receptions. Find and do it all at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Info online at BolingbrookGolfClub.com.
Congratulations to all who took the Balance of Nature New Year's Challenge. Success stories are pouring in. So many people have been helped through this incentive that I have asked Balance of Nature to continue this challenge for as long as possible.
I'll tell you what, this stuff is great. I haven't gotten sick. Everybody around me is coming down with that laryngitis. And it seems like it's all over the country. It's like a respiratory tract infection, and people lose their voice. And then it goes away, and then it comes back like 2 weeks later, and it's worse. I teach in a school. Half the teachers here, are sick. They're miserable. And I haven't gotten sick, and I swear it's this stuff. It's this fruits and veggies I'm taking.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
It is 6:36. Let's get an update on the roads in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Eden's inbound slow Niles Center to the junction. 23 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 19. Kennedy, 28 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 30 now. Eisenhower, 48 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 48. There's a crash at York Road in the right lane. Stevenson, 45 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 37. Ryan, 28 minutes. 95th to downtown. Outbound 19. Crash on the Bishop Ford at Cottage Grove in the right lane. We have delays on the inbound Ford Freeway starting around 130th. Looking at 20 minutes, 25 minutes that is, from 8094 to the merge, outbound 22. On Tri-State slow 87th to 83rd, from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, and Reagan slow to North Avenue. Traffic also is a service of CiCi's Pizza. Can you believe it? CiCi's now has 3 stuffed crust pizzas, original pepperoni, new pretzel, and new bacon stuff. Try them all and your other CiCi's favorites for just $5 and change. The CiCi's Buffet just got better. Believe it. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte at AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. A thunderstorm early this morning. Most of that heavy stuff moving out over the lake now. Hot and humid with sunny intervals later today, high 92. Currently 65 degrees at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas. Best beans, best roast, best coffee.
Let not your heart be troubled. Listen to me, Sean Hannity. I love the latest news and what it all means for you. It's coming up at 2 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
What up, Dan and Amy? How about this piece, Amy?
Yes? What piece of that?
This piece.
I got a piece for you right over here.
Jesse Ben.
I don't know.
He writes for the Huffington Post.
Yes.
He describes himself generously as an engaged citizen.
It's called the HuffPo. Yeah.
A critical media scholar who engages in random acts of journalism. Well, here's a random act of journalism.
I have no idea what you just said.
He engages in random acts of journalism.
He engages in random acts of journalism. I thought
What,
they
are
were
you
random
like-
acts of
You like
kindness.
Ed McMahon? Were we doing a Karnak
Yeah,
routine here?
ready?
Jesse Ben.
Jesse Ben. No.
The answer is his column, Sorry Liberals, a violent response to Trump is as logical as any. This piece advocates for violent rebellion against Donald Trump, and if some of Trump's supporters get injured at Trump events, well, that's just too bad. What do you think of that? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Violence that takes place at Trump rallies in support or opposition is a reaction to the tone that he has set, and the blame for it should land primarily on his, meaning Trump's, shoulders. Violent resistance matters, writes Jesse Ben. Riots can lead to major change. Think Stonewall Uprising, Watts Rebellion. Think the L.A. protests. Is that what they were? The L.A. protests in response to the Rodney King verdict?
Chicago protests?
No,
Oh,
the L.A. He's going back in time. The L.A. protests in response to the Rodney King verdict.
52 people died. Uh-huh.
Protests is a bit of a generous description, but okay. He also goes on to say he has a certain message for problematic liberals of privilege.
God.
Who condemn violent resistance to Trump. Some people have the privilege to consider the implications of Trump's rise in the abstract and negotiate which means are necessary. It's not true for everyone, writes Jesse Ben. And when those who hold privilege dismiss the potential validity or logic of violent resistance, it's effectively an effort to dictate the rules under which oppressed peoples respond to existential threats and to silence forms of resistance disagreeable to privileged sensibilities. Don't be that liberal. Be the violent liberal.
So he's encouraging violence.
Yeah.
And he's saying whether you're causing it or the recipient of it, it's fair game.
Well, he is suggesting that Trump is responsible for all the violence, but he's advocating violent resistance, quote unquote, to Trump as totally legitimate.
Okay.
That what you saw in San Jose last week, for example, absolutely fine.
What we saw in Chicago, that was fine, to throw rocks at Trump supporters' windshields when they're driving out of the parking lot. Okay.
And anyone, I mean, of course, he assumes, people, conservatives will condemn this because we're, let's see, what did he describe? We're racist, nativist, xenophobes, misogynists, Islamophobes, ableists with a propensity towards authoritarianism. So he assumes that from us. But for liberals who condemn the violence, that's a problem because they're doing it from a place of privilege where less privileged liberals have to resort to violence as the means to throw off the chains of their Trump oppressor. And this is what he's arguing.
Well, we'll see what happens tonight in Richmond, Virginia. Donald Trump having a big rally, and they're already expecting there's going to be some violence.
I bet Jesse Ben won't be there. George and Moni are on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, I think Trump ought to just take a page out of the old Democrat book, man. Remember Lester Maddox used to hand out the axe handles? He was a devout Democrat, wasn't he? Why don't we have signed Donald Trump Louisville Sluggers? You want to, go up against, people leaving an event with carrying a baseball bat? Good luck.
All right, thanks for the call, George. Warriors come out to play. Yeah, remember that movie? From Warriors. The movie Warriors. You remember that? No? Did you ever see that movie?
I know the song.
It's about New York
Warriors,
street gangs in the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
No, not Warrior by Scandal.
No. Shooting at the walls of heartache.
Bang, bang.
I am the warrior.
And you didn't know Scandal sang that, did you?
Isn't the head singer Patti Smith?
Scandal.
Thank you. I got one right. And if there was a bell here, I'd ring it. Okay, go on. With
Chip.
your fancy little friends.
My fancy friend Chip from St. Charles.
Turnkey.pro text line.
Oh, hey, Chip.
Hey, there was police in that crowd, undercover police in San Jose, and there was other police there too. And the police were told to stand down and not protect the Trump supporters. And so the police aren't going to protect you if you go to one of these rallies because it's generally a liberal mayor that runs the thing. And then the liberals also want to take your guns away. So the police aren't going to protect you. You can't protect yourself. If left up to the liberals, the conservatives are just going to be wiped out.
Thanks for the call, Chip.
Liberals are going door to door, taking the guns away. I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Ninth Circuit decision yesterday. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. Ninth Circuit decision. Right,
Yeah.
You do not have a constitutional right to carry.
Maybe Chip's onto something.
We got a fight brewing. Frankly, what Trump said about Hillary Clinton, if she's elected and she appoints for the Scalia vacancy, your Second Amendment rights are under threat. He's right. Terry and Darian, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Hey, Terry.
Oh, hey, how are you?
Good.
So liberals are total hypocrites.
Yeah.
If you remember early on one of the Trump rallies, there was an African American guy that was in the rally giving everyone the finger. Some guy smacked them, and they were attacking, the violence at the Trump rally. So now people are being attacked regularly. They're supporting it. They're endorsing it. They don't talk about it compared to the very little violence that's been done on the Trump side. And more so, it was more people just trying to stop other individuals who would come into the Trump rally and try to start trouble and purposely start trouble, unlike the people that are leaving the rallies and getting attacked now. They like free speech only if it's something that they agree with. If they don't agree with it, they want to attack it.
Literally, physically attack it. Thanks, Terry.
Warriors, come out to play.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Cloudy skies, a thunderstorm should be rolling out of here by 10 a.m. or the light rain. And then it's going to be hot and humid with intervals of sunshine, a high of 92 degrees. And tomorrow, Saturday, looks a little dicey. We're going to have clouds and sun, a PM thunderstorm, but we could hit the temperature near the record of 97 degrees. Ooh. And on Sunday, a lot different. It's going to be cooler with sun and clouds, a high of 76. Let's get the numbers on the roadways. Here's Jim Talamonte. Tell me more.
Thank you, Amy. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. Streets are now closed in the South Loop. Printers Row Lit Fest this weekend. And, of course, street closures remain downtown for Blues Fest. A lot of traffic in the city. And you've got soccer at Soldier Field tonight as well. America's Cup at Navy Pier. Eden's inbound right now. Heavy from Niles Center to the Junction. 23 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19th. Kennedy, 28 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 30. The Eisenhower's 48 minutes either way between Thorndale and the post office. Heavy delays on the extension outbound St. Charles to York with a crash in the right lane. Stevenson, 46 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37. Ryan is 28 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound 19 after a crash on the Bishop Ford Cottage Grove. That's now moved to the right shoulder. Northbound Tri-State's low 87th to the 83rd Street toll. The Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis. The Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Veterans Memorial, Little Heavy Maple to the Reagan Tollway. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Congress under pressure on the Puerto Rican bailout. Honda recalls 784,000 more Takata airbags and a new headache for airline travelers. Those stories next.
Hey, Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. What if you could store your IRA or your 401k where you can see, touch, and hold it in person in the form of physical gold and silver coins? I know I would, and you can't do that with stocks. But with the Augusta Gold and Silver IRA, you can transfer retirement savings into physical coins and store them where you can see them anytime. Free shipping, zero management fees, and Augusta pays all upfront costs. Getting started is absolutely free. Rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau, enjoys a 98% 5-star satisfaction rating with TrustThink.org. You can trust Augusta. Call toll-free 1-855-222-6993 now for your free guide to Augusta Gold IRAs. Call toll-free 1-855-222-6993. That's 1-855-222-6993. Or visit AugustaPreciousMetals.com.
The House of Representatives has begun debate on a bill to create a financial control board to oversee Puerto Rico's $70 billion debt crisis. House leaders and President Obama pressuring lawmakers to support the legislation. Honda recalling 784,000 vehicles in Japan for faulty front passenger seat airbag inflators made by Takata. They may explode with too much force. The FAA ruling out a requirement for psychological testing for airline pilots despite an incident in which a German pilot flew a plane into a mountain. Travelers signing up for the government's expedited airport screening program are finding there's a logjam on pre-check applications. It can take months to get an appointment for the required in-person interview. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
The success of a mid-sized business often comes down to one thing: managing your cash flow. I'm Ann Dollagall, Treasury Management Executive at Signature Bank. At Signature Bank, we take a personalized and proactive approach to structuring your cash management solutions to keep your financial assets safe and working for you. Our automated accounts receivable and accounts payable technology allows your business to grow without adding to your overhead expenses. And what truly sets Signature Bank apart is our personal approach. We get to know your business by rolling up our sleeves to work alongside you. Call me today for a review of your company's operational challenges.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
World, say hello to some old friends. It's been a long time, but they remember you. They're my toes, and they've been hidden ever since I got nail fungus. Yeah, nail fungus. I know, embarrassing, right? Really ugly stuff that I just couldn't get rid of. Tried several doctors, took pills, creams, even considered surgery. Of course, with that, you lose your nail, and there's no guarantee that the fungus won't come back. So I tried Clear Touch. Clear Touch is a little handheld device you use at home. It's painless because it uses light. Yes, light to travel fast and deep. Can't believe I went so long hiding my toes when this simple, inexpensive solution was waiting right there at Clear Touch. Clear Touch is even cleared by the FDA because it's safe and works. Yeah, my toes saw the light. So, world, I'd appreciate it if you could pass the word about Clear Touch, the phototherapy solution that works.
Call 800-279-7573. That's 800-279-7573. That's 800-279-7573 or cleartouchnails.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Thank you, David Stripling.
Dan and Amy and Patty Smith.
That's a little off there.
You know, Amy, we do our Freedom Fest every year. Ours is coming up in October.
Freedom Summit.
Oh, it's Freedom Summit?
Yeah,
is that what
get
we
it
call
right.
it?
Okay, no, just get it on. It's Freedom Summit. Smells like freedom around here. Yeah.
I've only done it once.
America.
So I don't know. What is the difference between a fest and a summit? Well, maybe we can ask our next guest.
Involved?
Mark Skousen is Eagle Financial Principal. He is a raconteur, nationally known investment expert. Actually, back in the day, a CIA analyst.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's a published author. He does all kinds of stuff. And he organizes this Freedom Fest every year. It's in Vegas, Planet Hollywood in Vegas. They got my money. July 13th to the 16th. You can register at freedomfest.com.
Blackjack table, or where'd you lose your money?
Actually,
Slots?
You know what, actually?
What?
Actually, I've done well at Planet Hollywood. That's one of the few
Wow.
casinos in Vegas that doesn't have my money. And Mark Skousen would probably tell me I shouldn't be gambling away my mortgage payment. Mark Skousen, Eagle Financial, Freedom Fest 2016. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure. You know, there is a big difference between a summit and a fest. When you're at a summit, it's all serious business. When you're at a fest, you are having a party. And, of course, Vegas is where we celebrate liberty, what's left of it. And, you know, we call it Freedom Fest, and we all are in favor of freedom, but it's still a very dangerous word. And today, more and more, everything is being either prohibited or mandated. So Freedom Fest is about expanding our personal freedoms. We have a 3-day investment conference. We talk about politics. We had Donald Trump last year. Boy, that was a circus.
Not bad.
And this year we have Gary Johnson, the third-party candidate. So who knows? Maybe we'll jumpstart his campaign.
Yeah, maybe I'll pass around some of that New Mexico hash that he likes so much.
Oh, boy.
That's what makes it a fest. Dan.
Well,
It's cruel to your next president.
Yeah, right, exactly. A fest. Well, nothing says fest like Grover Norquist. Are
But
you guys?
George Foreman's going to be there,
when,
too.
when,
yeah.
when Grover Norquist is asleep, do you guys like shave his beard?
You know, that would be kind of a nice change, a venue for him. But you should see Matt Kibbe, you know, of Freedom Works.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
now got this huge growing beard. That seems to be the in thing. And, of course, at Freedom Fest, we let anybody dress the way they want to within reason. But Grover Norquist, he's famous for his Wednesday meeting. It's a private meeting. He meets in Washington. CNN calls him the most influential, the most powerful man in Washington, and he's bringing his Wednesday meeting to Freedom Fest on Wednesday, July 13th, and it's available. It's open to everybody who attends Freedom Fest. And, yes, we do have George Foreman. In fact, you know, it's interesting that we, just by luck, we have George Foreman and Don King, the two other principals that were involved in the Rumble in the Jungle.
That's right.
Back in the 70s with Muhammad Ali, and here Muhammad Ali passes away. I can't wait to hear what Foreman and King have to say. They say that Ali was extremely influential in their lives. So it's going to be a fun conference, and we have over 200 speakers, so you're never bored at Freedom Fest, let me tell you.
And you're also going to do a mock trial on global warming. How do you think that's going to end?
We thought that we should finally put the global warming alarmists on trial. You know, they're always putting the global warming deniers on trial. And what we're going to do is put the alarmists on trial. We've invited Al Gore. Apparently he's on his private jet going to the North Pole or something. He's not available. But we do have we have a judge. It'll be Judge, I think Michael Medved is going to be the judge this year. And we have a prosecuting and defending attorney. We have star witnesses, and we have a jury. And so it's just like a trial, and we put global warming on trial. It's really going to be exciting.
Well, it's and you also get an investment conference with yourself and Peter Schiff and Alex Green, respected investment analysts. You've got a great line of speakers. Speaking of judges, Andrew Napolitano, Steve Forbes, great business leaders like John Mackey from Whole Foods. So this
looks fun. Can we still go?
Although Ed Asner, what's that? Are you just going to pants Ed Asner? What's he doing there?
We're actually having a very big summit, if you will, on voting access, voting fraud, gerrymandering. And so Ed Asner has been very active in trying to increase voter access. We have John Fund, who's written a lot about voter fraud. So it's going to be, you know, one of the things we do at Freedom Fest is we bring together people who, in debates, we have lots of debates. And last year we had Paul Krugman and Steve Moore coming in. I mean, it was standing room only. And this year we have a capitalist versus a socialist. We have John Mackey of Whole Foods against John Romer from Yale University. Imagine this. One of the top Marxist socialists teaches students, hundreds of students, at Yale University every year. I mean, that's why we're having the problems we are today.
All right. He is Mark Skousen. It's Freedom Fest 2016, July 13th to the 16th at Planet Hollywood in Vegas. Go to freedomfest.com or you call 855-850-3733. If you use the code SALEM, you can save $100 on registration.
All caps.
All caps. Salem, all caps. Save $100 on registration. FreedomFest.com. Mark Skousen, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck. We appreciate it.
Thank you. See you there. Bye-bye.
And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, this is Joe Walsh, excited to tell you about Chicagoland's finest gun shop and indoor shooting range. I'm talking about Maxon Shooters Supplies and Indoor Range, just north of O'Hare in Des Plaines. Maxon is Chicagoland's first NSSF 5-star facility and one of only 70 nationwide. Hey, protecting your family and Second Amendment rights are real important. That's why Maxon Shooters Supplies is focused on safety, proficiency, education, and takes real pride in providing the area's highest quality facility to hone your skills on one of their 20 handgun rifle and shotgun stations. Maxon has the classes you need, including Illinois concealed carry and 2 on-staff gunsmiths for all your repair and customization needs. Maxon is easy to reach in Des Plaines, just off of I-90 and Mount Prospect Road. For information or directions, call 847-298-4867 or visit MaxonShooters.com. That's MAXON Shooters.com. Maxon Shooters, Supplies and Indoor Range.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hillary didn't always oppose a wall on the border. We'll discuss that with Brett Baer at 7:07.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, the stories we're following. The hot weather headed to Chicagoland. The city releases the Gary McCarthy emails, and the Sox win, and Messi's in town. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. The White House makes a move in Afghanistan that could address some of the criticism about the Pentagon's hands being tied. Fox Radio's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
Lisa, the Obama administration has approved plans for expanded airstrikes against the Taliban when necessary, according to senior defense officials. The decision is viewed as politically sensitive because of President Obama's commitment to get U.S. forces out of Afghanistan. Nearly 10,000 troops remain in the country, but they would still not be involved in any direct combat. The Taliban has been rebounding in recent months. The UN says more than 3,500 Afghan civilians were killed and more than 7,000 wounded in 2015, most of them by the Taliban. Lisa.
Rachel, it'll be high noon in the nation's capital. Both Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton holding D.C. rallies after her big day of endorsements. President Obama, Vice President Biden, and Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren.
I am ready to get in this fight and work my heart out for Hillary Clinton to become the next president of the United States and to make sure that Donald Trump never gets any place close to the White House.
On MSNBC, some Bernie Sanders supporters like Warren, he remains in the race, at least through the final primary Tuesday in D.C. The backlash continues against a California judge over the 6-month sentence for a rapist who could have faced 6 years in prison. Fox Radio's Tanya J. Powers with this live.
Lisa, the San Jose Mercury News reports at least 10 jurors are upset over Brock Turner's sentencing. They've refused to serve this week in Judge Aaron Persky's court in an unrelated case. It comes as more than 1 million people have now signed a Change.org petition to remove him from the bench, and that's not counting other petitions also circulating. Turner was convicted in the sexual assault of an unconscious woman. He will likely only serve about 3 months behind bars. He's expected to be released September 2nd, Lisa.
Thanks, Tanya. A 20-mile funeral procession begins an hour from now for Muhammad Ali in his hometown, Louisville. You're listening to Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Mostly cloudy skies, 64 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. People should be prepared for hot weather in Chicago. Highs boiling into the low 90s in the city and suburbs. Similar temps tomorrow, with heat indexes soaring over the 100-degree mark. Family and friends mourning the loss of a Chicago high school basketball player shot and killed in suburban L.A. Saeed Ivy was gunned down early yesterday inside a vehicle in Monterey Park, California. The 2014 Simeon grad was celebrating his 20th birthday. The longer there's no budget, the more problems there will be. Illinois Comptroller Leslie Munger warning things like 911 payments, MAP grants, and other items. MAP grants just restored in April will not be paid out by the start of the new fiscal year in July unless there is a budget in place. A 6-year-old girl shot on Chicago's northwest side is expected to recover. Jaylene Burmo is in good condition at Stroger Hospital. A 17-year-old boy has been charged in that shooting. Theater students at Cary Grove High School found their glass slipper. High school's musical Cinderella won the first ever award for Best Production at the Illinois High School Musical Theater Awards. The Northwest Herald reporting the spring production was tops among more than 70 participating high schools. It was honored at Water Tower Place in a ceremony sponsored by Broadway in Chicago. Melky Cabrera doubled twice, drove in 2 runs as the White Sox beat the Nationals 3-1, and the Sox shake up their roster, designating pitcher Matt Latos for assignment and signing former Twins slugger Justin Morneau. Cubs begin a 3-game series with the Braves tonight in Atlanta, and Argentine star Lionel Messi back on the field tonight at Soldier Field against Panama. The news, a service of GNC. Fuel your summer at GNC. Top products to fuel every athlete are buy one, get one half off. Fuel your training, fuel your recovery, fuel your wallet. At GNC, it's buy one, get one half off store-wide. Mix and match now through June 27th at GNC. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity lays out what's at stake this election.
The media is ignoring all this anti-American, pro-Mexican flag violence at Donald Trump rallies. I mean, it's getting vicious out there.
There's a lot at stake this election.
If you're pro-life, if you're pro-Second Amendment, if you want to build the wall, if you want to repeal Obamacare, you want conservative justices, there's a lot at stake here. And the media wants Trump to lose, big time.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
When I hear realtors boast about servicing a 3-county area or selling a home every 15 minutes, I think, what level of service could their clients possibly be getting? This is Chris Jacobs with Century 21 affiliated in Inverness, and my message is a little bit different. If being a realtor for more than 20 years has taught me one thing, it's that all real estate is local. While I can't say I'm the #1 realtor in the country, I can tell you that over the past 10 years, I've sold more homes in Inverness than anyone else. My team specializes in Inverness, Palatine, and Arlington Heights. We pride ourselves on providing our clients exceptional customer service and local market knowledge. So if you're selling your home or looking to purchase a property in our area, then call me, Chris Jacobs, at 847-401-4859. That's 847-401-4859. Or visit us at chrisjacobshomes.com.
Each office independently owned and operated, an equal housing opportunity.
Are you hiring? Do you know where to post your job to find the best candidates? Posting your job in one place isn't enough to find quality candidates. If you want to find the perfect hire, you need to post your job on all the top job sites. And now you can. With ZipRecruiter.com, you can post your job to 100-plus job sites, including social media networks like Facebook and Twitter, all with a single click. Find candidates in any city or industry nationwide. Just post once and watch your qualified candidates roll in to ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface. No juggling emails or calls to your office. Quickly screen candidates, rate them, and hire the right person fast. Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by over 400,000 businesses. And right now, listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/trial. That's ZipRecruiter.com/trial. One more time. To try it for free, go to ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
QL1, this is Control. Ground crew is secure. Over. Copy that, Control. Rockets powering up. Over. QL1, this is Control. Does Rocket Mortgage require me to fill out a bunch of paperwork?
Negative, Control. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is the first on-demand mortgage machine that quickly and seamlessly imports your financial data. You can go through the entire mortgage approval process in minutes.
Copy that, QL1. That is fast, like rocket fast. Do you think that's why they named it Rocket Mortgage? Over?
Affirmative, Control. That's probably why they named it Rocket Mortgage. It also works on any internet-ready device, so you can get a Rocket Mortgage at any time or place you choose.
Roger that, QL1. So technically speaking, you could get a Rocket Mortgage at rocket speed from inside an actual rocket?
Please just press the button, Control. Over.
Copy that, QL1.
3, 2, 1. Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage.
Rocket. Visit for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
7:08 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Kennedy, it's now 40 minutes from O'Hare to downtown, 20 from Montrose, 10 on the Express, outbound 15 to Montrose, 30 to the airport. The Edens, 25 minutes, Lake Cook to the junction, outbound 23. The Eisenhower, 57 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, 42 from Manheim, outbound 35 to Manheim, an hour 5 to Thorndale after a crash at York Road. Stevenson, 46 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound 20. Crash on the Bishop Ford at Cottage Grove on the right shoulder. Northbound tri-state delays are from Archer to 75th, from the Stevenson to 31st, and from the Cermak Toll to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway, a little sluggish, Toohey onto the Kennedy. Reagan Tollway fine, Veterans Memorial, little heavy approaching the Reagan Tollway. Northwest Indiana looks great. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
A morning shower or thunderstorm, then clouds and sun today. Humid with a high 92 and humid tonight. Mostly cloudy with a low 72. Another humid day tomorrow with clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm around 4 in the afternoon with a high of 94. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
65 at O'Hare, 67 along the lakefront. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by North State Steel, building America with products made in the USA. Visit northstatesteel.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Look, I know how hard this job can be. That's why I know Hillary will be so good at it. In fact, I don't think there's ever been someone so qualified to hold this office.
I look forward to meeting with her in the near future to see how we can work together to defeat Donald Trump.
As I said before, I am looking and listening and watching the candidates. I'm doing the same thing millions of voters are doing, and time will tell.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. What is up, Dan and Amy? Programming note, Amy. John Cass, Chicago Tribune columnist, who is sitting in for me on Monday.
He is?
Yeah.
You're off Monday?
I am.
Oh, thanks for telling me.
Yeah, so you know. I want a little programming note for our friend John Cass.
Start blogging now. Yes?
Printers Row Lit Fest. John Cass tomorrow, Saturday, 10 a.m. He will be at the food and dining tent for Printers Row Lit Fest and talk about whatever's on your mind.
Really?
True. Yeah, it's a programming note for Cass. He's accessible. He'll listen to, all of your complaints.
That sounds fun.
He'll listen to your dreams, your hopes.
Desires.
And Jeff Carlin, the producer of his podcast, The Chicago Way, will be there, too. No tickets required. John Cass would love to see you. And by the way, something else you may not know about John Cass.
What?
He listens
He's
to
Greek? Really?
No, I knew that. Everybody knows that.
He likes Greek yogurt.
He listens to this show while in the shower.
That is really something I did not need to know, but thank you.
So I want you to think about that when we're broadcasting the show. I want you to think about John Cass cleaning crevices.
Giggity, 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 giggity.
That's what I want you to think about.
You're so
and
gross.
If that didn't gross you out enough,
yeah.
and it certainly should have, I also want you to think about Joy Behar and what she had to say about Bernie Sanders yesterday. Joy Behar, she's one of these man-hating shrews that's on that.
It's called The View.
The View, yeah, that's it. What's the other one? The Chew, The Talk?
Oh, yeah, The Chew, The View.
Yeah. So, and they're all the same. They're, fungible. She said, I'm sexually attracted to Bernie Sanders.
Gross.
But I want him to pull out. Which is more disgusting, John Cass cleaning his crevices,
will you stop?
or Joy Behar and Bernie Sanders? We'll take your calls. But before we do that, we have to get to our friend Bret Baier.
Yeah, he made some news of his own.
Yeah, he interviewed Hillary Clinton because no matter who you are, Bret Baier is like the Borg. Resistance is futile. You will be assimilated. Hillary Clinton knew that, so she sat down with an interview with Bret.
Yeah, on Wednesday after her big win, after making history, Dan, he asked her about her economic policy. And I don't think she really answered the question.
What specifically would you do differently with the economy than President Obama has done?
Well, I think that 76 months of job creation is a good start.
Well, it's just not different. I mean, what specifically would you do differently than the Obama administration?
Right. But I think what I want to establish is that we've gotten out of that deep ditch we were dropped into. It took a while because it was a pretty severe recession, and a lot of people haven't yet recovered to where they were before the recession. That's why I've said we need a big infrastructure plan.
He was holding her feet to the fire.
No, Bret did a good job.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to do? It's like...
what do you do when they don't answer the question?
It's like, trying to get your hands around Mercury. All right, well, let's get a little bit more insight from our friend Bret Baier, of course, the host of Fox News Special Report, 5 p.m. Monday to Friday, 5 p.m. Chicago time. Bret, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning. I mean, between Sam Cass and Joy Behar and sexual things, where is the show gone?
I don't know. No, we are as rambling and disconnected as Hillary Clinton was in that interview you did with her.
I tell you, it's tough because it's, as you know, a satellite interview. First of all, it was a round robin, essentially. They gave all the network news anchors 6 minutes. And so you do an interview and you're trying to press and there's a second delay. And it's a little logistically difficult. But then I thought it was kind of a straightforward question on the economy, and you're right. We didn't really get a full answer.
Well, did you learn anything from her during that 6-minute interview?
Well, I learned that she believes that there is zero chance that she will be indicted or that there will be any problems from the email investigation or the Clinton Foundation investigation. How she knows that, I don't really know, other than the President of the United States endorsed her yesterday, which, some people in the Justice Department may see that as a signal that that's the way he wants the investigation to go. They dispute that at the White House, but it's obviously an interesting question about conflict of interest.
Yeah, and your colleague James Rosen put that question to Josh Earnest, and yeah, certainly is. And his answer is basically that's why we have career prosecutors and career investigators, so they're insulated from politics. But nobody's really insulated from politics. I mean, it's a little Pollyannish, of course, that what they want us to believe. But the question, where is Jim Comey? And, we had gotten initial indication from the FBI that this investigation and some determination one way or the other would be done by May. Well, we're now in June. And we don't have any more of an indication. Is there any sense of when he's going to surface and draw this to conclusion?
There is not a timeline. However, I'll tell you this, that in the past 3 days, there have been stories that have leaked from U.S. officials to the Associated Press, to the Wall Street Journal, about specifics inside those emails. One with the AP had CIA names of CIA personnel involved in operations that were in those emails. Another with the Wall Street Journal said that there were specific operational details about drone strikes with Pakistani officials in those emails. Well, that stuff doesn't come out unless somebody inside is really mad that this is not, one, going forward, and two, that the president perhaps has endorsed the person under investigation.
Right. And how is that going to work if President Obama, obviously, he's endorsed Hillary Clinton? That's going to affect Loretta Lynch's decision, don't you think, when it comes to whether or not to take this on as charges?
You would think. I mean, but Loretta Lynch is somebody who, is on the up and up. She is a political appointee, though. And, the FBI director has a lot of supporters who say he is a straight shooter. And we'll see how this all comes out. I mean, if the president came out and said, I endorse Hillary Clinton, and just to be sure that everybody knows it's on the up and up, we also have a special prosecutor who is going to look into this independently. That would have been one thing, but that's not happened.
Yeah, and so with the president's endorsement video, the I'm with her moment he had yesterday, but he couldn't broker the same I'm with her statement from Bernie Sanders, who would only say,
I'm waiting for California results to come back.
Well, and he went on to say, of course, that I will work to defeat Trump and we're going to work together, but wasn't real clear on who's going to play what role, and I'm looking forward to the D.C. primary. So Bernie Sanders not over the threshold in terms of party unity quite yet.
Not yet, but he's getting there. I think this is a slow walk down, and I think he's just saying he wants to finish the primary season for his supporters. He, I think, is going to have some serious leverage when it comes to the party platform and to Hillary Clinton's number 2 pick. And, that'll be interesting as it plays out in Philadelphia. There are some things that Hillary Clinton is not for that Bernie Sanders is for and is going to push for.
Do you think there's any possibility Hillary Sanders or Clinton Sanders ticket?
No.
No, I'm saying they would destroy Donald Trump. If they joined forces, I think it'd be over.
No.
That's what I think.
No. I don't think so. I don't think so. However, Hillary Clinton,
I go home now.
Hillary Clinton last night said that Elizabeth Warren was qualified to be her VP, and she did not say anything about Bernie Sanders. So that was kind of interesting. Elizabeth Warren obviously endorsed Clinton last night as well.
Is the smart money still on Tim Kaine, the former Virginia governor?
It is right now. I think with a kind of jumbled up Republican Party that is trying to get its head around fully getting behind Donald Trump, that Clinton's play will probably be for a state like Virginia and for somebody that can go after, at least moderate center-right Republicans. Tim Kaine is in the Senate. If he leaves, he would be replaced by a Democrat because Terry McAuliffe is governor.
He's governor for now. Where's the smart money with respect to Trump's running mate, especially with Gingrich making some critical comments of Trump's comments on the judge?
I think Gingrich is still on the list, believe it or not. I think that if I had to bet, I would bet more on a current lawmaker and somebody safe who appeals to a lot of folks. The issue is who is taking that position, who is signing up to that. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure that we know.
Yeah, I mean, I know Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee has been a name that's floated. I have floated the name. Mary Fallin, governor of Oklahoma. Yeah. I floated the name. What do you think about this? And I haven't talked to him about it, and I haven't heard his name, but it seemed like this person would fit a lot of the needs Trump has. Former Congressman Mike Rogers from Michigan. He's from Michigan, military, FBI, chairman of Homeland Security when he was in the House. I don't know if he'd leave his radio gig to do it, but what about somebody like Mike Rogers?
Well, I don't think so, actually. He does check a lot of boxes, but it takes the Benghazi argument off the table. Rogers was the chairman of the report of the Intelligence Committee that kind of let Hillary Clinton said there was nothing that they could do. And that report, even among Republicans, was criticized for being not complete. And soon after that, Rogers left Congress. So I do think that there are some hurt feelings in the Republican Party about how that all went down.
No, that's a good point.
He does check some boxes.
All right, he's Bret Baier. He is the host of Fox News Special Report, Monday to Friday, 5 p.m. Chicago time. Bret, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Have a good one.
And he joined us on our Turnkey.Pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Somebody got shot down. Oh, no.
Yeah, for a real wet
Mike
blanket
Rogers.
on that.
No, Mike
Yeah.
Rogers for you.
No.
Forecast clouds are
What about Mike Rogers?
No, sorry, sir. You don't win the prize. And we're going to have some award-winning weather here this weekend. It's going to be hot. Today, the clouds are going to stick around. The sun's going to start shining anywhere around 10 o'clock this morning. It's going to be hot and humid, a high of 92 degrees. That we could break a record tomorrow. Temperature near the record of 97 degrees with a PM thunderstorm. And on Sunday, it's going to be a lot different. It's going to be cooler, some sun, some clouds, a high only in the mid-70s. Any drama on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Well, thank you, Amy. Good morning. Right now, actually, things aren't too bad. It is a Friday, and in most places, traffic is lighter than usual. You'll have a lot of traffic in the city this weekend with Printers Row, with Blues Fest, with soccer at Soldier Field, and a lot of other things going on. Right now, the tollways are really not too bad. Northbound Tri-State, you've got a delay from the 83rd Street toll to the Mile Long Bridge, and from the Stevenson to 31st, and from the Cermak toll to North Avenue. The other tollways are much lighter than normal. Edens, not too bad. 25 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound, it's 23 minutes. The Kennedy is 40 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound, 35. The Eisenhower, 57 minutes from Thorndale to the Loop. Outbound, 55, thanks to an earlier crash at York Road. Stevenson, 46 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan is 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford is cleared up. There is a new crash reported at Dalton Avenue with a car in the ditch. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Oh, like all parents, I'm always looking for something fun to do with the kids, and I have a great suggestion. Donnelly's Wild West Town. It's a Western theme park, just a short drive from Chicagoland in Union, Illinois. It's open every day now from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and one admission fee includes everything. It's fun, really, that everyone in the family can experience together, and there is nothing else like it, trust me. Rides, attractions. My kids loved painting for gold. They did that for hours. You can shoot slingshots. There's a Wild West show that I loved, a museum, a petting zoo, great food, and a lot more. Parents, grandparents, kids, Dan profs, everyone will enjoy a day together at Wild West Town. It's interactive family fun, so check out the details at wildwesttown.com. wildwesttown.com. A great outing for groups, too, like daycares, church groups. Donnelly's Wild West Town, open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Wild West Town, it's good old-fashioned family fun. Yeehaw!
Guys, are you tired of being tired? Frustrated because it seems impossible to lose belly fat? If you're looking for a solution, then listen to Mark.
I had fantastic results with the Andro 400 Max. Probably lost 35 pounds, and more impressive than that was the inches I lost off of my belly and my waist. And the increased energy is fantastic. I'll be totally honest, I tried a different product, and I wasn't happy with the different product. You guys are considerably cheaper than the other brand, and I can really feel the difference.
Andro 400 Max, the extra strength, all natural testosterone booster. The safe, easy, and affordable way to gain energy and lose stubborn belly fat. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Feel and look like a new man. Go to andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
Everyone is making predictions about who Donald Trump will pick as his vice presidential running mate. Mine just got shot down by Brett Baer. Here at AM 560, we're raising the stakes a little bit. Check it out. If you correctly guess Donald Trump's running mate, you could win $560. That's right. Enter our $560 Veep Stakes contest between now and June 24th. And if your prediction is correct, you could win $560 and a $50 gift card from the Trump Winery. Two easy ways to enter. Fire up the AM 560 mobile app on your smartphone and enter the contest that way, or go to 560theanswer.com/Trump to enter online. It's that easy. Complete rules are online at 560theanswer.com/Trump. Enter today. It's going to be huge.
AM 560, The Answer.
Hey,
what?
Amy, you know how Al Gore invented the internet?
Yes.
Guess who invented the iPhone?
Who?
You would think, the obvious guess would be Steve Jobs, right?
Of course, yeah,
Wrong.
because he's was the CEO and founder of
No.
Apple.
Mike Wozniak? No.
Oh, yeah, I was just
No.
about to say that.
No. Anybody here have a smartphone? Pelosi asked an audience at the DNC platform hearing in D.C.
Have you seen her lately? She had some more work done.
She has that perpetual like raccoon attack.
No, it's gotten
face.
better. It's softer, but you can tell that she got her neck done. Not that I was really studying it, but
No.
she got her neck done, and then she got a little lift here.
It's fun to go
Maybe
through
a
life
little
looking
Botox.
like you're always surprised. Anybody here have a smartphone? She asked the audience. In this smartphone, almost everything came from federal investments and research. So Apple, Jobs did not create the iPhone. Like Al Gore invented the internet, it was the federal government who invented the iPhone. So just wanted to set the record straight there, per Nancy Pelosi. And we were talking about Hillary with our friend Brett Baer. He had the opportunity to interview her. This interesting little tidbit from a decade ago surfaced. You know how Hillary is aghast by Trump's suggestion that we build a big, beautiful wall with the Trump sign on it on the southern border?
She's going to attack him on that on a number of levels throughout, the next 5 months of our lives.
Yeah, well, like Trump, she has taken every position on every issue as well. Now, her perspective is a little bit different. She's doing it so she can get power because she's actually a left-wing ideologue. She is actually somebody who wants to transform this nation the same way the radical left have used Obama as the means to transform the nation or move it in that direction, transforming into a police state. And Hillary is of the same kind. Remember Wellesley and Children's Defense Fund? This is a left-wing ideologue. Different than Trump, but in pursuit of power, she has taken all kinds of issues, all kinds of positions and all kinds of issues, including Mexico. Listen to this Hillary Clinton, senator from New York, back in 2006.
Mexico is such an important problem. Mexican government's policies are pushing migration north. There isn't any sensible approach except to do what we need to do simultaneously, secure our borders with technology, personnel, physical barriers if necessary in some places, and we need to have tougher employer sanctions, and we need to try to incentivize Mexico to do more. If they've committed transgressions of whatever kind, they should be obviously deported.
Whoa. Yeah, she also talked about barriers. So, boy, that's how far apart are Trump and Hillary really, or at least that Hillary from 2006? And, of course, Trump in 2012 was criticizing Romney for his self-deportation comment. So they've both done 180s, and I'm sure they'll do more 180s before this election season is over.
Self-deportation.
It's about politics.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
The company was born in the Civil War era. The year was 1866 when founder Christian Henry Hansen started C.H. Hansen in Chicago. The company grew, expanded, and even survived the Great Chicago Fire and the Great Depression to become the great company they are today, headquartered in their Naperville office and factory.
The C.H. Hansen Company stands proud with Chicago and Illinois as a great American hand tool manufacturer. In celebration of their 150-year anniversary, family-owned and operated C.H. Hansen thanks its employees and customers for their service and business. C.H. Hansen offers over 2,000 products, stock and custom in 8 different product categories, including steel stamps, stencils, metal tags, barricade and flagging tapes, Palmgren, makers of work-holding vices and metalworking machines, mechanics tools, and marketing tools. Visit chhansen.com for information. C.H. Hansen is Chicago and a proud part of Chicago and Illinois for 150 years strong and counting.
AM 560, The Answer.
Yeah.
Bitty bitty bop.
Bang. Funky, funky. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Amy does more cantaloupe. And we meet Madigan's Ditto Heads at 7:37.
But first, let's go into the newsroom and say hi to Mike Scott.
Amy, hello. Amy, Dan, good morning. 64 degrees outside, and political observers are buzzing. Wait till you hear. There's a meeting this morning between Hillary Clinton and Senator Elizabeth Warren. They have a private meeting scheduled on their books this morning. Warren's endorsement of Clinton last night and this morning's meeting are hinting at speculation that Clinton could ask Warren to be her vice presidential running mate. Richmond, Virginia police say they're ready for Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump's rally tonight at the Richmond Coliseum, where Frank Harmon reports.
However, Jasper Connor and others are planning an anti-Trump march and protest outside the Coliseum, with some even supporting disruption from within the building. Connor says we'll be aiming to disrupt business as usual to show the city there's no room for fascism and racism in Richmond. Police Chief Alfred Durham says we will not tolerate any types of illegal behavior at the event. Frank Hammond in Richmond.
The public says final goodbyes to boxing legend Muhammad Ali today at a public memorial service at the KFC Yum Center in Louisville. U.S. Geological Survey confirms a magnitude 5.2 earthquake shook up things overnight in Southern California, center near Palm Springs. People should be ready for some hot weather around Chicago. Low 90s today. Heat index values over 100 tomorrow. Governor Bruce Rauner and his wife made a public appearance a day after it was reported that Diana Rauner's nonprofit organization is suing her husband's administration over funding. Evanston police have taken a 44-year-old woman into custody connected with a small explosion in a Target store restroom yesterday. Police say no threats were made and the explosion was not related to Target's transgender bathroom access policy. Well, it took 7 decades, but 89-year-old Erwin Empey is now a graduate of Cedar Springs High School in Cedar Springs, Michigan.
I just thank the Lord that I was able to do it. I don't know if He just saved me for that or what, but I wondered for a long time, why am I still hanging around, And maybe this was it.
He dropped out 71 years ago to enlist in the Navy in World War II. Empey says his kids started getting him ready to earn that GED about 7 months ago. He walked with the school's graduating seniors on June 2nd. Melky Cabrera doubled twice. White Sox over the Nationals 3-1 after they shook up their roster, designating pitcher Matt Latos for assignment and signing former Twins slugger Justin Morneau. Cubs begin a 3-game set with the Braves tonight in Atlanta. The news service of Napa Auto Parts. Get Pennzoil conventional oil for just $3.39 a quart this month at participating Napa Auto Parts stores. That's Napa know-how. While supplies last, General States pricing. Sale prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. 7:34, time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. And a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes the GOP is missing a huge opportunity.
That has been the great failure of the Republican Party, not to talk about the damage the left does. They talk about individuals, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, doesn't mean a thing. If you support the left, you are supporting the damaging, perhaps irreparably, of the society. I know you mean well, and it doesn't matter.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
LiveWatch helps you connect and respond up to 10 times faster in an emergency. LiveWatch has no long-term contracts. Save up to 50% off home security. Call 855-LiveWatch or visit LiveWatch.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
If you think all banks are the same, it's time to think about Signature Bank Chicago. I'm Pete Olson, head of commercial banking at Signature Bank, where the people who own the bank operate the bank, not in an abstract way, but in the same hands-on, personalized way that you run your business. We don't rely on a legion of business developers to find new relationships. We don't trust an outsourced phone bank to address your customer service needs, and we don't delegate decision-making to some anonymous credit committee that you'll never meet. We do everything we can to help you succeed, because if you don't succeed, we don't succeed. Call us today to see the Signature Bank difference.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
I have struggled with irritable bowel syndrome for 40 years. Really struggled with it. And I want you to know that since I have been taking Balance of Nature, I don't have it anymore. After 40 years, I'm 75 years old, and after 40 years of struggling with this and, early on taking all kinds of medication and this, that, and the other thing, back in October, I was able to cancel my appointment with the gastroenterologist. Your products have made my life. They have improved the quality of my life so tremendously. I can't be grateful enough. So please thank you all, and please, if you ever have a chance to, please thank Dr. Howard.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
We're so excited about our sold-out golf outing at the Bolingbrook Golf Club coming up on Thursday, June 16th to benefit Operation Support Our Troops America.
If you weren't able to get in this year, don't worry. You can still reserve a tee time at the Bolingbrook Golf Club anytime this spring or summer by visiting BolingbrookGolfClub.com.
And thanks to the sponsors who are making our golf outing possible.
Remax Professionals, Charity Golf International, Dr. Amy and Associates, MJ Miller and Company Jewelers in Barrington, Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli, and Pearl Mortgage.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
For 30 years, we've been making people happy with incredible deals and service.
We're the best Ford Lincoln dealers in town.
Because making people happy makes us happy.
No doubt. This is one happy place.
Heck, we just break into dance all the time.
We don't break into dance at the dealership.
Sure we do.
No, we really don't.
We could. Come on, Marty, dance with me.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Admit it.
Okay, you're a lovely dancer.
Thank you. This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
7:38 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Eden's inbound 22 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. The Kennedy is 35 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 35 as well. The Eisenhower, it's improved. It's 47 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 55 after an earlier crash at York Road. Stevenson, 46 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37. Ryan, 36 minutes, 95th to downtown. On Lakeshore Drive southbound, it's heavy Belmont to Fullerton and 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-States, though, Archer to 31st in pockets. And from the Cermak toll to North Avenue, other tollways are lighter than normal. Traffic service of GNC. Fuel your summer fun at GNC. Top products to fuel every athlete are buy one, get one half off. Fuel your training, fuel your recovery, fuel your wallet. At GNC, it's buy one, get one half off store-wide mix and match. Now through June 27th at GNC. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. A thunderstorm early this morning. Hot and humid conditions this afternoon, a high 92. 65 at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Power Trading Radio. Heard Sundays at 2 p.m. Brought to you each week by Online Trading Academy.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
What song is this?
Dan and Amy. Amy, let me tell you something about state government.
Let me tell you something.
Doing my Hawk Harrelson. Let me tell you something about Ted Williams. Heck of a ball player.
Head's frozen, right?
Let me tell you something about the state of Illinois. It is Banana Republic.
Mm-hmm.
We're not quite to Caracas levels yet, where people are literally hunting dogs on the streets for food.
Yeah, and rabbits and rats and squirrels.
Don't
forget about those animals.
But we're getting there. Got downgraded by the bond rating agencies again yesterday. Both S&P and Moody's cut Illinois' grade to its to the lowest held by any state in the union since Massachusetts in 1992.
Wow.
Coming out of the Dukakis years. These will not be Dukakis years. Well, they are Dukakis years, and it's worse, actually, in Illinois, and not getting any better. Let me give you a bit of a snapshot of why we have what we have. I want to introduce you to the Madigan Ditto Heads. Rush Limbaugh has his Ditto Heads. Well, Madigan has his Ditto Heads, too. They're members of the General Assembly and the Democrat caucus. One of them is his majority leader, Barbara Flynn Curry. If you ever watch the General Assembly debates, and why would you, she's the one who looks like Cruella de Vil. So just so you can identify her.
I know who she is.
Yeah. So Barbara Flynn Curry, Mike Madigan's majority leader in the House, has an exchange with Dwight Kay, who's a state representative from from Glen Carbon, Republican from Glen Carbon, Southern Illinois. And he's a manufacturer by trade, executive of a manufacturing company. And this was an exchange about the 500-page, $7 billion out-of-balance budget that Madigan presented to the chamber 2 hours before he wanted them to vote on it. And Dwight Kaye just wanted to go line item by line item and inquire about the need for spending real money on specific things. This is the exchange.
Leader Curry, I believe you were presenting the bill yesterday. So I'm going to page 7, and I'm asking, when you have a state that's penniless, why you'd be looking at a pilot program at this point in time for $2,600,000.
Because it has value.
I see.
That's it?
How about page 13, section 120? The sum of $750,000 for the fairgrounds in DuQuoin. Is that something we spend when we're penniless? Does that have value?
Continuing appropriation.
Well, does that have value?
Clearly it did, or it would never have been in the budget.
Right. There's no such thing as something in the state budget without value, right? Isn't that true? So
But she seems so cavalier. Like, don't even bother me with the details. I don't want to know.
That's right. That's right. How?
God.
And she had enough. Barbara Flynn Curry, House Speaker Madigan's majority leader, had just about enough of Dwight Kaye's insolence. Mm-hmm. The idea that you would look at a budget document that is spending other people's money, real money, and you would question what we can and can't afford in a state that has $215 billion in debt and only $30 billion in assets, that has $120 billion in unfunded pension liabilities, that has the worst credit rating any state has had in almost more than 2 decades.
More than 2 decades. Well,
1992. Doing math almost like a legislator. The idea that you would question that is so outrageous. Barbara Flynn Curry just had enough. Why bother with this? You're wasting everyone's time.
And may I just suggest to the chair and to the body that if you're going to go through the budget with one line after another, my answer will continue to be ditto. And I don't know that is a useful expenditure of scarce legislative time.
Here's the problem, and I won't put the body through this. It's pretty obvious you've never run a business, you've never had to account for money, and debt has no impact on you whatsoever, especially when it has to do with taxpayer funds. I'm not going to go through this. This is simply embarrassing.
Good for him.
Yeah, it was a good moment. By the way, the video of that exchange.
Where can we see it?
I tweeted it at Dan Prof. But in addition to that, it's been viewed more than 1 million times.
That's great.
Yeah. So maybe Illinoisans are waking up. I don't know.
Besides on you tweeted it out. Where else can you find it?
Illinois Policy Institute's Facebook page has it.
Good.
Yeah. Is there any other places you need to see it? Why don't you retweet it? And then you could get it at Amy Jacobson.
Okay, at Dan Prof.
You just have to sift through all the cat pictures to get to it.
And dog pictures.
Yeah.
And pictures of you, I might add.
Oh, wow.
Well, because you were trying to be ultimate suck up by wearing your AM 560 shirt the other day, walking by Reisman's office. Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Right.
Pointing to the logo. I'm a company man.
Yeah.
Right here. Hey, Marcus Brown, did you see my shirt?
Anybody need their cleaning picked up? I'm going out.
Coffee? Donuts?
As it pertains to Illinois, just one other note here. Comptroller Leslie Munger made the point that, by the way, after June 30th, which is a mere 20 days away, she will have no authorization to write checks from the state treasury unless the General Assembly passes a state budget. Now, there's some rumors that they're moving towards
a stopgap funding, right?
Yeah, agreement on a stopgap budget, something on the order of what Rauner proposed, but that Democrats are going to hold out for a Chicago bailout to do even a stopgap budget that would include funding for K through 12 education. So many of the schools that could not otherwise open will be able to open and sustain themselves for the forthcoming school year, even without a state budget.
Yeah, and she did remind us yesterday during her press conference that, payments for K through 12 education, colleges, MAP grants, 911 call centers, domestic violence shelters, nutrition programs for child and elderly, and lottery winners, they will not be getting paid after July 1st unless something is done.
Right.
And I trust her because I don't think she has a political agenda. I really don't. I think that's why whenever she speaks, I listen.
She is the E.F. Hutton of Illinois. There's no question about that.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, a real dog fight in Chicago. Chiquito or Jake?
Wait, a text from 708. Somebody wants to participate. I want to encourage participation. I'd like to call her office and discuss her spending policy. Do you have her number? Barbara Flynn Curry. She's a Chicago state legislator, Mike Madigan's majority leader. So look up Barbara Flynn Curry and you'll get all her contact info and give her a call.
And today, our forecast calls for this. Thunderstorm has already rolled through here, so that's good. It's going to be hot and humid with some intervals of sun, a high of 92 degrees. Then tomorrow, Saturday, clouds and sun, but we can't rule out a PM thunderstorm. It's going to be very warm. We could have a temperature near the record of 97 degrees. Wow, that escalated quickly. And then on Sunday, it's going to be cooler, a big difference. It's going to have some sun and clouds, a high only in the mid-70s. Anything up and down on the roadways? Here's Jim Talamonte.
Well, there's some up news as far as the tollways go, Amy. It's lighter than usual, really across the board. The northbound tri-state does have slow traffic from Archer most of the way to 31st. Well, it's not as heavy as it's been all week. And then it's stop and go from the Cermak Toll Plaza to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway, there's delay from Bartlett Road to Barrington Road. Westbound a little slow, 59 to Beverly with some construction. Veterans Memorial, a little heavy from 63rd to the Reagan Tollway. And 88 is fine. The Edens, just 22 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. Kennedy, 36 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 30. The Eisenhower's 55 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, outbound it is an hour, with delays on the extension from York to Wooddale Road. Stevenson, 50 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37. Bryan, 35 minutes from 95th to downtown. Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Hey, life can be stressful, and sometimes you just need to get away for a day to relax, recharge. And Chicago is full of fun and very interesting things to do. The Hyatt Centric is a perfect getaway to enable you to see everything Chicago has to offer. So visit the AM 560 The Answer mobile app and register to win an overnight stay for free at the Hyatt Centric The Loop, Chicago. Act now. Contest ends Sunday, June 12th.
World, say hello to my 9 little friends. Remember us? We used to spend a lot of time with you, but that was before I got nail fungus. Yeah, nail fungus. I know, embarrassing, right? But what was a big toe like me supposed to do, eh? We tried doctors, took pills, creams, even considered surgery, but with that I could lose my nail, and there's still no guarantee that the fungus won't come back. Then I tried Clear Touch. Clear Touch is a little handheld device you use at home. Clear Touch is painless because it uses light, to travel fast and deep. All that time in hiding and this simple solution was right there at Clear Touch? Well, Clear Touch is even cleared by the FDA because it's safe and works. So if you're hiding your little friends, get Clear Touch. Now listen to the man.
Call 800-278-7144. That's 800-278-7144. That's 800-278-7144 or cleartouchnails.com.
When I hear realtors boast about servicing a 3-county area or selling a home every 15 minutes, I think, what level of service could their clients possibly be getting? This is Chris Jacobs with Century 21 affiliated in Inverness, and my message is a little bit different. If being a realtor for more than 20 years has taught me one thing, it's that all real estate is local. While I can't say I'm the #1 realtor in the country, I can tell you that over the past 10 years, I've sold more homes in Inverness than anyone else. My team specializes in Inverness, Palatine, and Arlington Heights. We pride ourselves on providing our clients exceptional customer service and local market knowledge. So if you're selling your home or looking to purchase a property in our area, then call me, Chris Jacobs, at 847-401-4859. That's 847-401-4859. Or visit us at chrisjacobshomes.com.
Each office independently owned and operated, an equal housing opportunity.
I'm Dan Proft with an Upstream Idea, brought to you by the Illinois Policy Institute. 27. Illinois state employees, on average, receive total compensation 27% higher than their private sector counterparts. State employees made nearly $4,000 more in wages and $13,000 in benefits than private sector employees. More than half of state workers will retire before the age of 60 with a guaranteed state pension. The state is in a financial death spiral with ground impact imminent. So keep this in mind as Governor Bruce Rauner breaks off contract talks with AFSCME, the state's largest public sector union. AFSCME has been unwilling to give on its demands for annual step increases of 3.8%, in addition to annual general wage increases. The lowball estimate of the cost of what AFSCME demands is $1.6 billion. That's $1.6 billion more from Illinois families who already pay the highest property taxes in the nation. This is Governor Rauner's moment of truth. He ran for office saying he is not a politician. He said he is a businessman who will make the difficult decisions to turn around the state he loves. We're about to find out if that's true. For more Upstream ideas, visit upstream-ideas.com. I'm Dan Pross.
AM 560, The Answer.
Amy Jacobson's dog stories. Woof, woof. Woof. Woof, woof.
Thank you. All right.
Lifelike.
Dan, we told you yesterday about the Chihuahua. Do you remember the Chihuahua's name? Who had been reunited with his family after 4 long years, and Chicago police saw the little Chihuahua
Chalupa.
walking down, the Chihuahua, walking in West Pullman
that's the name.
neighborhood.
It's Chalupa.
No, it's Chiquito.
Oh,
Chiquito
yeah.
Bonito. So the owner of Chiquito, Gloria Martinez, said, she made the mistake 4 years ago. She was walking Chiquito without a leash, and Chiquito ran away and was missing for 4 years.
Fell into a gorilla pit.
No, it didn't fall into a gorilla pit. But she never, she stopped looking for him, but she never gave up hope.
Yeah, I still had a little bit of hope. I've heard amazing stories of people finding their dogs after 10 years.
Yeah, like OJ looking for the real killers.
Stop it. So, that was cute story. All local news had it on.
Oh, of
featured
course,
it on,
of course they did. The hard-hitting local
reunion.
news.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, now a Pullman family says they are the ones who had him since 2012. Enter a woman named Bonita Whitfield, who said 4 years ago, her friend found this cute dog, this cute Chihuahua walking around. So they picked her up. They kept her. They renamed her Jake. And her dad called and said, you know what happened to Jake? Jake's on the news, and he was reunited with his previous owners.
I'm happy he found his original owners. It is a little bittersweet. I'm sure they're not going to want to give them back to us. But I would like to see him again if I could.
That bit.
Oh, Dan.
Trollop.
So we have a real dog fight here. I mean, where should Chiquito go with his original? And why didn't Bonita Whitfield take Jake to the vet? Because they could have seen that there was a microchip in Chiquito that would have said, you know what, you're really not the owner of this dog. The Martinezes are.
That two-timing son of a...
I know. Look at this guy.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. So Bonita Whitfield said her dog escaped from their backyard. Her dog, Jake, who's really Chiquito. Isn't this kind of like a transgender story? Escaped from her backyard a few months ago and has been wandering the streets of Chicago for 2 months. So who do you think should take the Chihuahua?
I would Solomonic like decision. Chiquito in half.
Cut the Cholula. No. So here's the deal. They're going to have supervised visits.
Oh my gosh.
No, listen. The original owner, Gloria Martinez, who named the Chihuahua Chiquito, she will let Bonita come and have supervised visits with her dog.
Oh, my goodness, of course. Yes, definitely. It's our dog. I know she would want him back, but, it's hard.
That's a nice story. I got a nice animal story for you here, real quick. Yeah.
What do you got, Dan?
It's about male chicks. Chicks. United Egg Producers, which represents about 95% of all eggs produced in the United States, has announced it will eliminate the culling of male chicks at hatcheries, which means they kill them usually by grinding them to death.
Oh, God, please.
Just saying. So that's been standard practice, but they're going to stop it. So now male chicks have eclipsed straight white men on the hierarchy of protected species. Congratulations to the male chicks.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer. And now, a moment of objectivism with your Ron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
Imagine you really hated poor people. What would you do?
Or maybe you'd prevent them from learning, say by sending them to many of today's government schools. Or maybe you'd prevent them from working, say by the minimum wage, which says that anyone whose work isn't worth $15 an hour is going to be stopped from accepting a lower paying job. Or maybe you'd force them to work without pay for a month and a half, a year, which is basically what Social Security and Medicare does via 15.3% payroll tax. Today's regulatory welfare state is not the solution to poverty. It's what's holding back the ambitious poor. For more, visit ARIradio.com. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ARIradio.com.
Why are Ayn Rand's ideas so compelling? Her worldview, her philosophy, expressed dramatically in her novels Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead, embodies the ideals stated by the Founding Fathers in the Declaration of Independence and sets forth the requirements necessary to achieve a flourishing life. She called her philosophy objectivism and said it was a philosophy for living on Earth. Today, decades after her death, objectivism continues to stir debate and inspire passion for the spirit of individualism and the enduring American dream.
Chicago radio deal.
How much is it to ride the Sea Dog?
Okay, it's time for a little R&R, courtesy of ChicagoRadioDeals.com. Dan, 2 words for you. Door County. Oh, yeah, take a few minutes off and escape to Wisconsin. Head on up to the White Lace Inn. It's a gorgeous bed and breakfast in Sturgeon Bay. The White Lace Inn features 18 inviting guest rooms and suites in 4 elegant turn-of-the-century neighboring homes. Now enjoy the gardens, gazebos, the glory that is Door County. It is a $300 gift certificate for only $150 at ChicagoRadioDeals.com, and it can be applied to overnight stays or items in their store. This deal is exclusive and limited, so do not wait. For another fabulous getaway adventure, purchase an overnight stay at the Schuster Mansion Bed and Breakfast in Milwaukee. Spend the night in Molly's Room, their 2-room luxury suite with a private bath. It includes breakfast in the Victorian dining room and fresh chocolate chip cookies. Yours for only $85 per couple. That's a $160 value. Check out all the deals only at ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
Not available in all states. Whoa, what do you have there?
It's a Reese and Irvy's frozen yogurt. We just had our robot make one.
A robot made your frozen yogurt?
Yes, the world's first fully interactive robot vending machine that serves 9 flavors of delicious yogurt with 6 amazing toppings. And it's available for an exclusive.
Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Check, mic, check, mic, 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 mic. That's too low. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. Muhammad Ali being laid to rest today. A hometown funeral procession just beginning. Fox Radio's Jeff Manasseh.
Okay, mic check, mic check. 3, 2,
Lisa,
and 1. Here's the hottest concealed carry deal available right now while supplies last. Shrink Smoking Gun is offering this amazing deal in honor of our listeners. It's the Summer Shield deal.
He'd have stood for what he has done.
It's the Summer Shield deal.
And everybody
for only $560, you get a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield with or without manual safety, plus an exclusive Shrink Smoking Gun Smith & Wesson range bag,
former heavyweight champs
4-in-1 holster, 4 boxes of Federal Range ammo, and your choice of Birchwood KC Shoot NC targets.
With an expected crowd inside and outside of 31,000, where the greatest will be eulogized by former President Bill Clinton and others.
It's a great discounted deal.
Lisa?
Thanks,
It's
Jeff.
a great
Donald
discounted
Trump
deal.
Taking some shots
Shrinks
during
also
a flurry
carries the
of
largest
Hillary Clinton
selection of new.
endorsements. Vice President Joe Biden calling Trump's recent
God,
comments
then you
about a
walked in.
judge reprehensible.
Okay.
Doesn't understand because this is a realm
Shrinks,
in which he's never
hi,
dealt
Dan.
before.
Shrinks also carries
Or
the
he
largest
doesn't
selection of
care.
new,
President
used, and
Obama
consignment
recording
firearms
both
in
his
Lake
endorsement
County,
of Clinton
including
and a
pistols,
Tonight Show
rifles,
appearance.
shotguns, hard-to-find calibers,
This is not
collectibles, and
reality
older
TV.
functioning
And he also
hunting
did a Slow
rifles.
Jam, the news segment on NBC.
Plus full gunsmith services, so plan ahead ahead for hunting season. Hey, if you love cigars, check out Schrank's humidors. So don't miss the summer shield deal. Visit smoketheletterN.gun.org or call 847-662-4034. Schrank's Smoke and Gun in Waukegan, your family-owned gun store since 1964.
Sanders is still campaigning for now for the final primary next Tuesday. Clinton also plans to meet with Senator Elizabeth Warren.
That's 847-662-4034.
Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Clouds, 64 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. People preparing for the hot weather here in Chicago. Highs reaching the low 90s. Temps and heat indexes near 100 tomorrow afternoon. Family and friends are mourning after a former Chicago high school basketball player was shot and killed as he pursued college basketball in suburban Los Angeles. Saeed Ivy, a 2014 Simeon grad, was celebrating his 20th birthday when he was struck and killed by gunfire inside a vehicle in Monterey Park, California. Newly released emails are detailing the days after former Chicago Police Superintendent Gary McCarthy was fired in December. City handing over documents yesterday after a Cook County judge granted that request made by the Tribune. Much of the letters were of support sent to McCarthy by rank-and-file officers, including current Superintendent Eddie Johnson. A 6-year-old girl shot on Chicago's northwest side, expected to recover. Jaylene Burmo is in good condition at Stroger Hospital. A 17-year-old boy has been charged in that shooting. And prepare to dig deep or get lucky if you want to see the Chicago production of the Broadway smash Hamilton when it comes to town in September. Tickets running as high as $600 for premium seats. There will be an online lottery for more than 18,000 seats to be sold for $10. Melky Cabrera doubles twice, helping the Sox beat the Nationals 3-1. Cubs begin a 3-game set with the Braves tonight in Atlanta. The news service of Napa Auto Parts. Get Pennzoil conventional oil for just $3.39 a quart this month at participating Napa Auto Parts stores. That's Napa know-how. While supplies last, General States pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Turnkey.pro. Here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, who will buy Yahoo's web business? Bidding has progressed to the next round. Reuters is reporting Verizon's offer was at the low end of those received. AT&T isn't out. It's working with an investment bank. There's also a group led by Dan Gilbert, who founded Quicken Loans. It's backed by Berkshire Hathaway. A new report from the University of South Carolina says fast casual chains like Chipotle and Panera Bread serve entrees that could include up to 35% more calories than McDonald's or Taco Bell. That's because of optional add-ons like guacamole and sour cream. Fitbit is seeing tremendous growth in the past year as it competes directly with the Apple Watch. But Chief Financial Officer William Zarella tells the Wall Street Journal, as soon as you have your arms around something, it changes. The Dow closed down 19 on Thursday. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05 in Chicago. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Personal finance is 80% behavior, 20% head knowledge.
Dave Ramsey.
The reason you're in debt is behavior, not math. The way you get out of debt is behavior, change, not math. You can't borrow your way out of debt. How many times have you heard someone say, I had a whole bunch of credit card debt and I paid it off by getting a second mortgage? You didn't pay it off. You moved it.
The Dave Ramsey Show. Weeknights starting at 7, right before Michael Medved at 10. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
Congratulations to all who took the Balance of Nature New Year's Challenge. Success stories are pouring in. So many people have been helped through this incentive that I have asked Balance of Nature to continue this challenge for as long as possible.
I'll tell you what, this stuff is great. I haven't gotten sick. Everybody around me is coming down with that laryngitis, and it seems like it's all over the country. It's like a respiratory tract infection, and people lose their voice. And then it goes away, and then it comes back like 2 weeks later, and it's worse. I teach in a school. Half the teachers here, are sick. They're miserable. And I haven't gotten sick, and I swear it's this stuff. It's this fruits and veggies I'm taking.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Here's an idea. Instead of waiting for your boss to give you a raise, give yourself one by refinancing your mortgage with Quicken Loans. You could add hundreds of dollars each month to your bottom line, like a boss.
Fox Radio's Jeff Manasco.
Okay, mic check, mic check. 3, 2, and 1. Here's the hottest concealed carry deal available right now while supplies last. Shrink Smoking Gun is offering this amazing deal in honor of our listeners. It's the Summer Shield deal.
For 6 years in a row.
It's the Summer Shield deal. For only $560, you get a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield with or without manual safety, plus an exclusive Shrink Smoking Gun Smith & Wesson range bag, 4-in-1 holster, 4 boxes of Federal Range ammo, and your choice of Birchwood KC Shoot NC targets.
Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number
3, 2, and 1. It's a great discounted deal.
Thanks.
It's a great discounted deal. Shrinks also carries the largest selection of new.
Thanks, Mike. Here's a Friday treat.
Okay. Shrinks. Hi, Dan. Shrinks also carries the largest selection of new, used, and
25 from Montrose, 20 in the Express. Outbound 30 minutes to the airport. The Eisenhower, 55 minutes Thorndale to downtown. 40 from Manheim. Outbound, it's an hour with delays central to Manheim and York to Wooddale Road. Stevenson, 50 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 40. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State Tollway, the delays are northbound from the mile-long bridge to 31st and from the Cermak Toll to North Avenue. Adams Tollway westbound a bit slow, 59 to Beverly with work on the right lane. Veterans Memorial, just a little heavy, Army Trail to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most by Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, a shower or thunderstorm for the morning. Otherwise, it will be hot and humid with clouds and sun. High today, 92. Mostly cloudy, warm, and humid for tonight with a low of 72. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
69 out there. Next news coming up at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by attorney John DeWatt, an attorney with heart at thinkingoutsidetheboxlaw.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Look, I know how hard this job can be. That's why I know Hillary will be so good at it. In fact, I don't think there's ever been someone so qualified to hold this office.
I look forward to meeting with her in the near future to see how we can work together to defeat Donald Trump.
As I said before, I am looking and listening and watching the candidates. I'm doing the same thing millions of voters are doing, and time will tell.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So you heard at the top, President Obama, part of the video he released, the I'm With Her video, endorsing Hillary Clinton. Bernie Sanders not ready to go quite that far yet, but it seems, and Bret Baier said this too last time when we spoke with him, seems like it's a slow walk to consolidating support behind Hillary Clinton, and probably will be well choreographed leading up to the convention, with Bernie coming out at some point and raising Hillary's hand and all of the socialists applauding as instructed. But back to the President Obama video endorsing, and just the more important point, the endorsement of Hillary Clinton. There was an important exchange between James Rosen from Fox News Channel and Josh Earnest, the Dickensian named spokesbeing for the regime, when the issue of conflict of interest arose. I mean, does the president indicating that he wants Hillary Clinton to succeed him, how does that impact the investigation, criminal, Josh Earnest finally said, criminal investigation into Hillary Clinton? What kind of message does it send to career prosecutors and investigators?
So when a career prosecutor or an FBI agent who's working on the Clinton investigation hears this president speak openly of how he wants Hillary Clinton to succeed him, you don't think that that career prosecutor or that FBI agent takes that as some indication of how the president wants to see this case resolved?
No. I think that those career prosecutors understand that they have a job to do, and that job that they are supposed to do, which is to follow the facts, to pursue the evidence to a logical conclusion, that is a job that they are responsible for doing without any sort of political interference. And the president expects them to do that job. And look, this is the reason that we actually ask career federal prosecutors to take the lead on these kinds of matters. They're the ones who conduct this investigation. They are not, they don't have political jobs. They have career jobs as law enforcement officers.
Well, for more on this dynamic, we're pleased to be joined again by Joe Trippi, of course, Fox News political analyst, the author of the book, The Revolution Will Not Be Televised, Democracy, the Internet, and the Overthrow of Everything. And you see him on Fox squaring off against Karl Rove and others often. Joe, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Oh, great to be with you guys.
So what of this dynamic, not just the endorsement and the resistance by Bernie Sanders of endorsing Hillary Clinton, but as it pertains to the pending investigation criminal investigation into Hillary Clinton, which she says there's nothing to worry about and nobody knows how she knows that?
Well, look, I think Josh Earnest said it from the podium. The career investigators should do their job. And that is coming from the White House. I mean, he said it at the podium. I think that's we are in the middle of a presidential campaign. I think both the president, Biden, Bernie Sanders, there's a whole slew of people inside and outside the White House who believe Donald Trump should not be the next president of the United States. And obviously the president is going to support the nominee of the Democratic Party, and that's going to be Hillary Clinton. So I think what's really the significance of the whole thing, of what's happened in the last few days, is it's clear that Hillary Clinton has, the 4 or 5 big guns rolling out. Elizabeth Warren, Obama, Vice President Biden, Bernie Sanders clearly going to be joining that. And at the same time, Trump is sort of out there by himself with maybe Christie, standing behind him. But there certainly aren't any big guns. The Mitt Romneys of the world and the Bushes and just Martinez in New Mexico. I mean, there's no one stepping out right now. So I think over the end we'll see the investigation. At some point, everybody's going to know what the FBI and Justice Department did or didn't do, and what they found. And
don't you think
why you have an election? The voters will be able to make that choice at that time.
Don't you think Loretta Lynch's judgment is cloudy now that Obama is backing Hillary Clinton?
Well, look, I mean, I understand people believing and thinking that, and I understand where that's coming from, but I don't think I don't know anybody on the right or the left who believes the director of the FBI is in any way clouded by anything that anyone above him says. Comey's going to do his job, and I think the people who work for him will do it, and we'll know what they recommend. So I haven't heard one person say that's not the truth.
No, that's fair. That's a fair point.
So, I don't think any of this matters at this point.
Well,
what matters is what Comey decides to do.
Well, in terms of what matters, I mean, you talk about the big guns of the Democratic Party rallying around Hillary Clinton, and maybe not so much with Republicans. But isn't that kind of Trump's brand? Isn't that part of the contrast? Where Trump's got, I don't know, he's got of the 31 Republican governors, he's got about 6 or 7 that have outright endorsed him, and another, 15 to 18 that have said, I'll support the nominee, a little bit more tepid. But certainly the majority of Republican governors have fallen in line. Some are much more quiet over the last week because of the comments about Judge Curiel, but they've generally fallen in line. Even Paul Ryan has not walked back his statement that he is going to vote for Donald Trump again, even though there's some tepidness there. But part of Trump's brand is, who cares about politicians endorsing other politicians. If they don't want to come support me, that's fine. I'm just kind of taking my populist message where populists do, which is right to the people. And if the establishment doesn't like it, well, that's all the better. That gives me that much more currency with the constituency I'm trying to represent.
I don't have any doubt that you're right about that with Trump supporters and people that are already attracted to him. The problem is, to broaden out, you've got to unify the Republican Party completely, and then he's got to broaden out even beyond that, beyond the Republican brand to win. And I think, I would point to Governor Kasich in Ohio as like just the sort of the quintessential problem here. He's actually talking about hosting the Republican convention in his state while not necessarily supporting Donald Trump. Well, Ohio is kind of, first of all, he's still pretty popular in Ohio, and Ohio is like, if the Republicans don't win that state, Trump doesn't win the presidency. You have no chance if you're a Republican if you don't win Ohio. No Republican has won the White House without it. So I mean, you start to just see, yes, it's tepid. Yes, but a Republican is lucky to win Ohio if everybody is unified behind him. Let alone, the sitting governor saying you're not ready for prime time.
Well, Joe, has Governor Kasich decided to go to the convention? Because for a while he wasn't going to go, and even though it's in his home state.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that sort of, again, points out the problem here. You've got a sitting Republican governor in a key swing state. You're holding the convention there on purpose to try to push that state over with your big show, and you've got a Republican governor who either isn't going to show up, if he does show up, may not be supporting Trump. I mean, I'm not saying that this is, stops any chance of Trump getting there. I'm just saying this is a pretty serious problem compared when I think people thought in the last couple of weeks, the Democratic side wasn't going to come together. What would Bernie be pushing for? I think it is going to come together much like 2008, where you had Obama and Clinton going in, and she made it, made the nomination motion for acclamation behind Obama. I think it's much more likely to be like that, and there may be a nice show in Cleveland for the GOP, but it's still pretty dicey for Trump to put this all together. Part of the problem for him is, you see this, party leaders and donors and people he needs start to gravitate to him when good Donald comes out for a few days, and then they're shocked again 4 days later when he says something about a judge or says nasty things about Governor Martinez in New Mexico. I mean, so, and then they all move away, and then he gets good again for a couple of days, and that's going to be a seesaw that happens from now to November because he just doesn't have the kind of message discipline that they're going to be able to put their faith in. And a lot of these swing state Senate races where you have senators who can lose their seats, they're not going to be able to hug him one day and run away from him the next. So they've got to, at some point here, the seesaw's got to stop, and I'm not sure it's going to be with a big bear hug of Donald Trump, but we'll see.
But in 2008, I mean, just to distinguish 2008, there was not a never Obama movement. There was unbelievable enthusiasm, unbridled enthusiasm behind Barack Obama as the nominee. That's clearly not the case here. And let me put this question to you, though. Let me put this question to you. Do you think this race turns out to be less Hillary versus Donald and more never Hillary versus never Donald?
No, I think this is. I think first of all, it's not true about 2008. 47% of all Clinton supporters said they weren't going to vote for Obama coming out of last primaries, and there was a Puma movement of women, which was Party Unity, my rear end, that was just like the Bernie or Bust movement. So it didn't materialize. But I think this is really going to be, this thing is essentially, in my view, baked in the cake in that I think the press and pundits want to sort of focus on never Hillary and never Trump, and I understand that, but it's not real. I think the country's so polarized that Trump is going to be the great unifier for Democrats. Hillary Clinton's going to be the great unifier for the GOP, even despite the comments I just made about governors and senators not being with them. That's going to come together at the grassroots and rank and file level anyway. And it's really who can expand, and that's where I think Trump has a big problem because of his rhetoric. He's the one that I think can't really expand outside of the base very, very well, and that's for a Republican in a national election. That's a very, very tough thing to do. Romney got the highest percentage of white votes up close, nearly beat or tied George H.W. Bush's record, and it only gets to 206 electoral votes. He's got to expand beyond that. He may be able to expand into blue-collar Democrats. We'll see if he can. But he's got to really expand somewhere, and I just don't see him doing that in enough of the swing states to have a real shot at winning.
All right,
at least
Joe,
the way he's headed now.
He is Joe Trippi, Fox News contributor, political analyst, also longtime Democrat political operative, and the book, The Revolution Will Not Be Televised, Democracy, the Internet, and the Overthrow of Everything. Joe, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Great to be with you guys. Take care.
Thanks. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Coming up next, there's a new class of people called transabled. Wait till you hear this one. But first, our forecast, we're going to have some cloudy skies and peaks of sunshine. It's already coming through. It's going to be hot and humid, though, and 92 degrees for our high. And then tomorrow, Saturday, we're going to have some clouds and sun, and then temperatures up in the upper 90s, believe it or not, and we'll have an evening thunderstorm, which will cool things off then, because Sunday it's going to be a lot different. Cooler, sun and clouds, a high in the mid-70s. Travel times, here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. It's all good on the Aidens. 19 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. Inbound Kennedy, delays start at Keeler. 35 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 40 minutes now, O'Hare to downtown. 30 from Montrose, 25 on the Express. Outbound, 30 minutes from downtown to the airport. The Eisenhower, 55 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, 40 from Manheim. Outbound 40 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, and outbound 40. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Outbound 20, right lane still closed at 47th after a much earlier crash. Lakeshore Drive, slow southbound Irving Park to Fullerton and 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. You'll have some Blues Fest traffic in that area later this morning. Northbound Tri-State, a bit tight, Plainfield Road to the Hinsdale Oasis, the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Only very slight delays on the other tollways. Pretty clear in northwest Indiana, too. Jim Talamonte, Guardian Security Services, Traffic Center.
Hey, everyone is making predictions about who Donald Trump will pick as a vice presidential running mate. And here at AM 560, we're raising the stakes a little bit. So check this out. If you correctly guess Donald Trump's running mate, you could win $560. That's right. Enter our $560 Veeps contest between now and June 24th. And if your prediction is correct, you can win $560 and a $50 gift card from the Trump Winery. 2 easy ways to enter. You can fire up the AM 560 mobile app on your smartphone and enter the contest that way, or go to 560theanswer.com/Trump to enter online. It's that easy. Complete rules are online at 560theanswer.com/Trump. Enter today. It's going to be huge.
Cutting edge. That's a concept companies strive to achieve in the world of custom packaging, design, and vendor-managed inventory. Infinity Packaging is the cutting-edge leader. If your company is cutting edge, then Infinity Packaging is your best choice. From stock and custom corrugated boxes and mailers, to film, bags, tubes, labels, and specialized inserts, no packaging challenge is too cutting edge for Infinity. Plus, a high level of service and customer contact and multiple warehouse locations truly make Infinity Packaging a premier packaging and warehousing leader nationwide. You'll receive the benefits and savings of big company purchasing power with the advantages of a small company approach to service. To learn more or schedule your company's packaging analysis, call Infinity Packaging at 847-786-2002 or visit infinitypkg.com. That's 847-786-2002. or online at infinitypkg.com. Infinity Packaging, the cutting-edge leaders in custom packaging, design, and warehousing.
World, say hello to some old friends. It's been a long time, but they remember you. They're my toes, and they've been hidden ever since I got nail fungus. Yeah, nail fungus. I know, embarrassing, right? Really ugly stuff that I just couldn't get rid of. Tried several doctors, took pills, creams, even considered surgery. Of course, with that, you lose your nail, and there's no guarantee that the fungus won't come back. So I tried Clear Touch. Clear Touch is a little handheld device you use at home. It's painless because it uses light. Yes, light to travel fast and deep. Can't believe I went so long hiding my toes when this simple, inexpensive solution was waiting right there at Clear Touch. Clear Touch is even cleared by the FDA because it's safe and works. Yeah, my toes saw the light. So, world, I'd appreciate it if you could pass the word about Clear Touch, the phototherapy solution that works. Call 800-279-7573. That's 800-279-7573. That's 800-279-7573 or cleartouchnails.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy. So, Amy, right, if it comes from my head, it has to be correct. Nothing that I think can be challenged on moral, scientific, medical grounds. Just remember that because that's the argument of the transgender proponents. Remember that when you hear this. Transabled people feel like imposters in their fully working bodies. When he cut off his right arm with a very sharp power tool,
what?
A man who now calls himself One Hand Jason let everyone believe it was an accident. But it wasn't. My goal was to get the job done with no hope of reconstruction or reattachment, and I wanted some method that I could actually bring myself to do, he told the body modification website ModBlog. His goal was to become disabled. People like Jason have been classified as transabled, feeling like imposters in their bodies, their arms and legs in full working order.
Well, that person's sick. I mean, they need to be under psychiatric care.
Medical professionals in the space who've defined this as, this condition, the transability, the desire, the need for a person identified as able-bodied by other people to transform his or her body to obtain a physical impairment.
It's called self-mutilation. You probably started out as a cutter.
The person could this is beyond that. The person could want to become deaf, blind, amputee, paraplegic. It's a really, really strong desire. Most are men. About half are in Germany and Switzerland for some reason. Most crave an amputation or paralysis, though the one researcher in Canada has interviewed a person who wanted his penis removed. Ouch.
Oh, and that same Canadian researcher interviewed somebody who wants to be blind.
Some of his study, the participants in his study, this Canadian researcher, draw parallels to the experience many transgender people express of not feeling like they're in the right body.
Is this like to be the ultimate victim, like the ultimate look at me?
I think it's, where does the psychosis come from? I don't know. I'm not a psychiatrist, but is it a mental illness? Is it a psychiatric problem? Yes, it is. Some of his study's participants draw parallels to the experience many transgender people express. Ow.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The sounds of summer from your very own pool and spa is brought to you by All Seasons Pools, Spas, and Outdoor Living. All Seasons Pools and Spas begins from the ground up with creative custom design, expert pool construction, and hardscaping, and then finishes with complete maintenance and care, leaving you to enjoy the of summer. As you soak up the sun poolside, imagine a fire pit, outdoor kitchen, or pergola. All Seasons Pool and Spa will turn your boring backyard into a vacation paradise. No need to go off the deep end. Relax, knowing that for over 60 years, All Seasons Pools and Spas has been making a splash in your neighborhood. Visit their showroom and store for a complete selection of pool, spa, robotic pool cleaners, and premium barbecue and grill islands. A trained staff is on hand to provide water testing, salt and chlorine products, and advice for servicing your pool. All Seasons Pool and Spa and Outdoor Living, 135th Street in Orland Park, or resortlivingathome.com. That's resortlivingathome.com.
AM 560, The Answer. Answer.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The next POTUS who will nominate the next SCOTUS justice just got a lot more important after a Ninth Circuit ruling on guns. We'll have that story at 8:38.
And making dating great again. Yes, a new dating site for Donald Trump fans. We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. The public getting a chance to say goodbye to Muhammad Ali today. Ali's youngest son, Assad, telling NBC's Today Show that the family is okay with sharing their dad with the world.
Dad was put on this earth for a bigger purpose, bigger cause. And for me to want him to myself like that would have been a very selfish thing.
There's a funeral procession through the streets of Ali's hometown of Louisville ahead of a 2 p.m. Eastern Time memorial service at a local arena. And we're hearing from Detroit this morning and around NHL circles that hockey legend Gordie Howe has died. He was 88 years old. Howe played 26 seasons in the NHL and 6 seasons in the World Hockey Associations. Gordie Howe dead at the age of 88. Political pundits are eager to find out what happens when Hillary Clinton and Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren meet in private. This morning, aftershocks continue to strike San Diego County in the desert following an overnight quake near Palm Springs, magnitude 5.2. Hard times continuing for Chipotle. One-time number one fast food casual food chain has fallen to 5th in the latest Brand of the Year rankings of brands selling Mexican-inspired food. The new number one is Moe's. People preparing for hot weather here in the Chicago area, low 90s today. Heat indexes soaring into the 100-degree mark or over that tomorrow. Newly released emails are detailing the early days after former Chicago Police Superintendent Gary McCarthy was fired. The messages came from the city account of the ex-superintendent, and many of them were letters of support sent to McCarthy by rank-and-file officers. And presidential candidate Bernie Sanders has weighed in on behalf of the student body president at the University of Chicago who could be expelled over a campus protest last month. Tyler Kissinger fears he will not be allowed to graduate because he allowed a fellow minimum wage protester to get access to the school's administration building for a sit-in. Now, Kissinger faces a disciplinary hearing today, and alumnus Sanders says he has his back. White Sox beat the Nationals 3-1. Cubs begin a 3-game set with the Braves tonight in Atlanta. The news, a service of Cici's Pizza. Can you believe it? Cici's now has 3 stuffed crust pizzas, original pepperoni, new pretzel, and bacon stuffed. Try them all and your other Cici's favorites for just $5 and change. The Cici's buffet just got better. Believe it. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is dumbfounded by the anti-Trump protesters.
Trump supporter being pelted by eggs, pregnant woman being knocked to the ground. Are you ready for this? Not one arrest. How do you beat people and commit these kinds of acts of anarchy and not an arrest? And still waiting for the media to react appropriately. We're going to wait a long time.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
LiveWatch helps you connect and respond up to 10 times faster in an emergency. LiveWatch has no long-term contracts. Save up to 50% off home security. Call 855-LiveWatch or visit LiveWatch.com.
When I hear realtors boast about servicing a 3-county area or selling a home every 15 minutes, I think, what level of service could their clients possibly be getting? This is Chris Jacobs with Century 21 affiliated in Inverness, and my message is a little bit different. If being a realtor for more than 20 years has taught me one thing, it's that all real estate is local. While I can't say I'm the number one realtor in the country, I can tell you that over the past 10 years, I've sold more homes in Inverness than anyone else. My team specializes in Inverness, Palatine, and Arlington Heights. We pride ourselves on providing our clients exceptional customer service and local market knowledge. So if you're selling your home or looking to purchase a property in our area, then call me, Chris Jacobs, at 847-401-4859. That's 847-401-4859. Or visit us at chrisjacobshomes.com.
Each office independently owned and operated, an equal housing opportunity.
I have struggled with irritable bowel syndrome for 40 years.
really struggled with it. And I want you to know that since I have been taking Balance of Nature, I don't have it anymore. But after 40 years, I'm 75 years old, and after 40 years of struggling with this, and early on taking all kinds of medication and this, that, and the other thing, back in October, I was able to cancel my appointment with the gastroenterologist. Your products have made my life. They have improved the quality of my life so tremendously. I can't be grateful enough. So please thank you all, and please, if you ever have a chance to, please thank Dr. Howard.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
There are two kinds of pain that goes away and the worst kind, chronic pain. If you suffer from chronic pain, life is not complete and it can be miserable. Unfortunately, most people use narcotics that mask the pain. You need to find the source of the chronic pain and get relief.
This is Dr. Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. We're serious players in the management of pain, and our team are national leaders as well as being educators in the treatment of pain. We will work with you to diminish or eliminate your pain and help you get your life back. There's a nationwide narcotics epidemic, and people are too quick to mask over chronic pain instead of looking for the cause and treating or eliminating the pain. Contact us. We will help you.
Go to mypainchicago.com. Call and make an appointment with some of the best pain people in the nation, located here in Chicago. mypainchicago.com. You or someone you know suffers in the suffering of chronic pain. mypainchicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
It's 8:38. Let's get an update on the roads. Guardian Security Services Traffic Center time. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Kennedy inbound delay started Keeler 45 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 30. The Edens is clear. Eisenhower inbound 50 minutes. Thorndale to the post office 35 from Manheim. Outbound 33 downtown to Thorndale. Down Stevenson delay started Central 40 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 37. The Ryan is 30 minutes. 95th to downtown. Outbound 20. For much earlier crash at 47th has the right lane closed. Lakeshore Drive, southbound heavy Belmont to Fullerton. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Tri-State southbound at Irving Park. There's a crash on the right shoulder. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Hot and humid, sunny intervals throughout the day. High 92. Warm and humid overnight, low 72. 69 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, good morning. We're mourning the passing of a legend today with Muhammad Ali's funeral, and it just came over the transom. The sad news that hockey legend Gordie Howe of Detroit Red Wings fame has passed away at the age of 88. Yeah, so
I'm not going to say who's going to be next in the
no, we don't do
arena.
We don't do the Deadpool, only for politicians.
Yes.
So yesterday, Amy, the Ninth Circuit. I'm not going to go all Trump on the Ninth Circuit, but it is known for being rather left. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals issued a 7-4 ruling upholding the California law with respect to right to carry. And California is a may-issue state. And the state law in California requires applicants to show, quote-unquote, good cause, such as fear of personal safety, to carry a concealed weapon. Writing for the majority, Judge William Fletcher said, "We hold that the Second Amendment does not preserve or protect a right of a member of the general public to carry concealed firearms in public." So the right to carry, not an individual right. Of course, the Heller decision said the right to keep and bear arms, keep and bear, both, is an individual right, individual constitutional right, God-given right. Now we have a couple of circuit courts, appellate courts, in conflict with one another because the Moore v. Madigan case here in Illinois, 7th Circuit, Judge Posner made this argument in terms of the bear part, the right to keep, the right to bear, the right to bear. Posner wrote in his opinion, a Chicagoan is a good deal more likely to be attacked on a sidewalk in a rough neighborhood than in his apartment on the 35th floor of the Park Tower. A woman who is being stalked or has obtained a protective order against a violent ex-husband is more vulnerable to being attacked while walking to or from her home than when inside. She has a stronger self-defense claim to be allowed to carry a gun in public than the resident of a fancy apartment building has a claim to sleep with a loaded gun under her mattress. But Illinois wants to deny the former claim, while compelled by McDonald case, to honor the latter. This creates an arbitrary difference. To confine the right to be armed to the home is to divorce the Second Amendment from the right of self-defense described in Heller and McDonald, those two seminal cases. It is not a property right. It is not a right to kill a house guest who, in a fit of aesthetic fury, tries to slash your copy of Norman Rockwell's painting, Santa with Elves. It's very colorful, Posner. This is not self-defense, and this case, like Heller and McDonald, is just about self-defense. A gun is a potential danger to more people if carried in public than just kept in the home. But the other side of the coin is that knowing that many law-abiding citizens are walking the streets armed may make criminals timid. And on in that vein. So you've got a disagreement here. You've got 8 Supreme Court justices, and the next president will nominate a SCOTUS, a potential SCOTUS justice to fill the vacancy created by Scalia's death. And all of a sudden, what some, including Donald Trump, have said, that if Hillary Clinton gets elected, your Second Amendment rights are in jeopardy. Well, that may be coming to pass now with these appellate courts in conflict and perhaps a case being leveled up to the Supreme Court for the High Court to settle the matter on right to carry, which is the law of the land in varying degrees in all 50 states, including Illinois, thanks to Heller and McDonald. Well, for more on this topic, we're joined by George Macsari. George Macsari. He is an assistant professor of law at SIU Law School, Southern Illinois University Law School, recommended by the eminent legal scholar Daniel Polsby, formerly of Northwestern Law, now at George Mason Law, and the author of the book, Firearms Law and the Second Amendment, Regulation, Rights, and Policy. And we're pleased to be joined by Professor Macsari from SIU. Professor, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks very much for having me. It's my pleasure.
So with respect to what the Ninth Circuit did, even though it essentially just upheld the constitutionality of existing California law, this sets up a real showdown over kind of the foundational definition of what the individual right to keep and bear arms means, doesn't it?
So in a sense it does, in as much as the passage that you read from Moore v. Madigan. What's interesting is that two interesting things. One, the Supreme Court hasn't granted certiorari on any of the other circuit court cases that went the same way as the Ninth Circuit did yesterday. So there's the Fourth Circuit, for example, in the Woolard case, which said that Maryland's similar law was constitutional. And in fact, the Third Circuit, in an absolutely egregious opinion that really didn't cite any evidence, also upheld New Jersey's very draconian law that's similar to California's. And in that case, the court went so far as to say that New Jersey did not have to present any evidence that its law was constitutional, because at the time that it passed its ban on concealed carry in 1966, the New Jersey legislature did not know that the right to bear arms was an individual right, because Heller hadn't come down yet. Well, that's the equivalent of, and therefore there was no constitutional question there. Well, that's the equivalent of saying, of a court in 1875 or so, saying that a statute that made it illegal for African Americans to vote, that was passed before the Reconstruction Amendments, should be upheld because the court that passed it before the Reconstruction Amendments didn't know that it would be unconstitutional. Yet even in that situation, the Supreme Court didn't grant cert on the case. So it's very hard to say. It's very hard to read the Supreme Court tea leaves.
Well, it's just so now putting this in a bit of a political context, with the effort that is constant from those who want to see more regulation of firearms, even a ban on gun ownership. I mean, there's still some of those individuals out there, and they're advocating their position. We see it, frankly, in Illinois, the kind of regulation as a means to backdoor prohibition, and the pending vacancy of the seat that was held by Scalia on the high court. How important does it become on this specific issue of Second Amendment rights, because this is one of the arguments that Trump has made, how important does it become who the next president is and, by extension, who the next Supreme Court justice is with respect to Second Amendment rights?
I think it's, and again, sort of somewhat reading the tea leaves, I think it's exceedingly important. I think Secretary Clinton has made no secret of her views on firearms and the right to bear arms. Neither has had her husband when they were in office. To the point where very recently someone uncovered in the Bill Clinton Presidential Library a memo that said that something to the effect that, yes, we should defeat the NRA. It's great. We should, pass this assault weapon ban, but we don't think it'll have any effect. The gun rights people are right about that. Nonetheless, they went forward with it. Assuming that Mrs. Clinton's, that Secretary Clinton's views are the same, I think it's exceedingly important. Now, one slight wild card in that calculation is that recently the Supreme Court handed down an opinion, something called a GVR, so grant, vacate, and remand. The Massachusetts Supreme Court upheld Massachusetts' stun gun statute, a ban on owning stun guns, and its reasoning was very defiant of the Heller case, the Heller and McDonald cases, actually, I should say. About as bad as the Third Circuit case that I described earlier. And the Supreme Court, in a unanimous decision, granted cert, vacated the decision, and remanded to the Massachusetts Supreme Court, saying, "Look, you have to at least follow Heller. You can't just completely ignore our reasoning in Heller in upholding this ban." So,
but the problem with Heller, correct me if I'm wrong, and this is where you've got the differing opinions from the differing appellate courts, is it left open the idea whether that individual right to keep and bear arms necessarily includes the right to carry a concealed weapon or to carry a weapon in public. Is that fair?
That's a fair statement. It didn't address it directly. There are a number of things in Heller that suggest very strongly that carriage outside the home of one form or another, so concealed or open carry, has to be allowed, has to be, cannot be banned. For example, it said that the need for self-defense is most acute in the home, applying that it can also be acute elsewhere, as Judge Posner said from the decision excerpt that you read. It talks about how the Second Amendment protects an individual right to possess and carry weapons in case of confrontation. And we live in a world where most confrontations are not limited to the home, and it's all but impossible for someone not to leave his or her home. That said, your analysis I think is correct. Heller did not address it correctly, and so that gives the appellate courts lots of room to do what they want.
Now, President Obama's nomination, of course, is Merrick Garland. Do you know where he stands on the Second Amendment?
So there's some talk out there that he would not be friendly to the Second Amendment. There isn't a whole lot of evidence one way or the other. The little bit that there is that is out there suggests that he would not be Second Amendment friendly. Again, we're reading the tea leaves, though, when we make that sort of prediction.
It's so interesting. When it comes to the left, you've got a Heller decision, McDonald decision, 50 states with some form of right to carry. That's not settled law. They continue to fight. When it comes to the right and things like Obamacare and other curious Supreme Court decisions, even getting into moral issues, that's settled law, and we're not supposed to discuss it anymore. Very interesting just in terms of the approaches of the respective political philosophies. But George Moksari, assistant professor of law, Southern Illinois University, the book, firearms law and the Second Amendment, regulation, rights, and policy. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate your insights.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, making dating great again. There's a new dating site for you Donald Trump fans looking for love in all the right places.
You can meet your third wife there.
Yeah, but first, here's your forecast. Today, we're going to have some sunshine now. The storms have moved on out of here. A high today of 92 degrees. And the heat and humidity is going to continue tomorrow. We could have a high in the upper 90s, believe it or not, with a PM and evening thunderstorm. And then on Sunday, it's going to be really cool. Some clouds, some sun, a high only in the mid-70s. Let's get those travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. In Skokie, Dempster remains closed between St. Louis Avenue and McCormick due to a crash. The Edens is at its base travel time, 19 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. There are delays on the Kennedy to the Burns Circle. 45 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 35 from Montrose, 30 in the Express. Outbound still Montrose to Sayre, 30 minutes downtown to the airport. The Eisenhower, 45 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 33. Stevenson, 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Ryan, 28 minutes, 95 to downtown, outbound 20. Lakeshore Drive, slow southbound Belmont to Fullerton, and 18th to the Stevenson, northbound heavy Roosevelt to Jackson. Adams Tollway westbound, a little slow, 59 to Beverly. There's road work in the right lane. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
On AM 560, The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important